Dalam BuzzPop hari ini, kita bakal membedah dan membincangkan X-Men 97 episod ketiga. Para panelis kita malam ini terdiri daripada saya, Nadzru daripada BuzzPop TV. Seterusnya Sifudin daripada YouTube channel Sifudin. What's up, bro?
Hai, what's up? Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam. Dan seterusnya adalah Jamal Raslan, Children of the Atom. What's up, bro? Masalahnya minggu ni Fignificent tak dapat join, so Jamal cover untuk Fignificent.
Sorry kalau ada fan Fignificent sedikit kecewa. Saya akan cuba mewakili dengan baik.
Tak apa, pasal kau dah tua bangka, so kau actually baca komik-komik 90-an tu. Itu adalah
babi lah, kalau aku tua bangka kau tua apa sial.
Kau masa tu kau budak kan? Masa 91 kan? Kau budak.
Main shop belakang rumah.
Aku punya main shop dekat SS15. Aku naik basikal tu. So,
belakang main shop section 15 tu rumahku.
Oh ya ke? Aku SS15.
Yes. So masa kedai buka, abang aku macam balik rumah macam Jamal ada kedai komik buka belakang rumah. So I will always go to the corner lot shop of that block. So mine shop macam 5-6 shops away to the corner lot unit was a kedai runcit called Rasul. So siapa budak-budak 15 yang pernah duduk guys tu zaman tu 30 tahun dulu, 40 tahun dulu. Ada corner lot kedai runcit nama Rasul. Aku adalah petugas utama untuk pergi beli kelapa, pergi beli sayur, pergi beli bawang, pergi beli suap khabar, pergi beli apa-apa lah. So selalu aku akan lalu the opposite side, meaning daripada rumah, lepas tu lalu jalan depan rumah, lepas tu pusing ikut corner tu lah. Tapi sejak my shop buka, aku lalu on the other side, so aku boleh jalan depan my shop setiap kali. Klasik.
Masa zaman kau tu, kau ingat main shop tak? Dia ada seti kat depan. Atau ada seti sebelum kaunter. So literally ada couch dekat depan kaunter.
Time baru buka tak ada. Time baru buka, kaunter dia adalah benda yang paling best dalam semua kedai komik pada ketika itu which is just glass counter yang dia susun semua kotak-kotak trading cards. Lepas tu kau akan masuk, kau tengok macam tu je.
Yeah, those are the days. Sorry Sifudin, kita cerita uncle 90-an masa kita remaja dan budak-budak.
Saya baru lahir.
Cool. Alright guys, so kita akan mulakan perbincangan kita malam ini dengan reaksi satu ayat. Alright, jadi apakah reaksi satu ayat anda terhadap episod ketiga siri animasi X-Men 97 yang berjudul Fire Made Flash? Kita mulakan dengan Sifudin. Apa pendapat kau? Silakan.
This is, in my opinion lah, one of the most trippiest animated episod yang saya pernah tengok. Sebab saya, jujur saya tak pernah lalui like apa tu bila saya hike apa, tak pernah buat kan. Tapi bila tengok episod ni, saya rasa macam wow, so this is what it's like lah macam tu. Sebab ada banyak scene antara Jean dengan Madam Pryor yang buatkan saya rasa macam wow, it's easy to look at, but at the same time it's actually not easy to look at, it's good. So saya suka. It's a trippiest episode. Also some kind of a horror episode as well. So I really enjoyed it lah. Good episode.
Yeah, dia masa dalam dunia telepati antara Madeline Pryor dengan Jean Grey tu, macam mana reality collapses tu macam what?
Yeah.
Cool gila.
Yeah.
Jamal, seterusnya silakan reaksi satu ayat.
Dia ada dua experience. Aku kena pecah. So the viewing experience was great. I think as an episode, it was cool. It doesn't matter if you're an X-Men fan from the 80s or 90s. It doesn't matter if you're an X-Men fan in the 2000s or if you're a new one. It doesn't matter if you're an X-Men fan because of the cartoon and then you read the comics or vice versa or terbalik. As an episode, it was great viewing. The pacing was awesome. There was enough action sequences. There was enough emotional scenes lah. Okay. So bila aku tengok lepas aku habis tu macam wow, Marvel, you actually did this. Because I'm pretty sure Sifudin dengan Fik dah mention dengan kau Nick, korang dah mention how ballsy aku tak tahu kata apa yang korang gunakan, tapi aku gunakan ballsy, Marvel or the writers, the showrunners for this story to just mash up all the major or important significant moments from the 80s or from the late 70s all the way sampai at least late 90s early 2000s punya storylines lah. So dia orang berani buat macam tu, dan kalau ada fan X-Men yang rasa macam boring ah korang tukar benda ni, I agree with you, I will not argue with you, tetapi we have watched Marvel doing it for their live action, and by and large kita setuju dengan apa yang dia orang buat, and it worked. So bila dia ambil buat benda yang sama dekat kartun, aku tak ada isu besar. Namun bila I step back from the viewing experience and I go back to the lore, itu yang aku rasa macam benda sia. So I'm a bit conflicted, you know. It was a great episode to watch. I can still watch it again. I still feel like, oh, this is great. Tapi now bila aku tengok, bila aku repeat viewing, aku rasa macam, I mean, I understand kenapa korang nak buat macam ni, dan aku tak question korang punya decision. I just find it just strikes me as odd kenapa you go down this road. Sebab half of the things that they did addresses a lot of the issues about Jean Grey dengan Madeline Pryor punya characterization yang Chris Claremont sendiri dah pernah petik daripada dulu. But the other half of it makes it look even odd, buat benda tu nampak pelik. But I think by and large it worked. So aku tak ada major issues lah. I think at the end of the day aku rasa macam I like the fact that you did this rather than you not doing it.
Yes. Untuk fans yang tak tahu, sebenarnya cerita clone Jean Saga ni memang berselirat. Anytime Marvel buat clone saga lah, Peter Parker ke Jean Grey ke, memang berselirat dan akan pening. Dan I guess Bill DiMaggio sebagai penulis X-Men 97 wanted to clean it up dan buat the most simplest execution. Tapi untuk fans daripada 1990-an, dia orang macam, ni bukan yang kita baca dulu. But I think to watch it again, I am kind of okay with it. Pasal it's a clean execution.
It's a clean execution. Itu aku definitely setuju dengan kau. Nanti bila aku jawab soalan nombor 2, aku akan explain kenapa. And because of that, aku jadi okay dengan benda ni. It's just that there are some characterizations yang dia veer bukan terlalu jauh, yang dia veer. It's a strong hard left or hard right to what the character normally was or used to be at that point in time, yang mungkin akan buat some people question, which is a fair thing.
Betul. Alright, sebelum kita menutup reaksi satu ayat ni, aku rasa ini adalah komen paling win daripada Fat Keep It Low-Key. Reaksi satu ayat dia adalah Jean looking at other Jean, telling Jean that we have the same genes.
Fat, kau perasan tak? One of the jeans pakai seluar jean.
Ya, kau boleh tambah sini. While wearing jeans. Terbaik.
Saja je.
Wow, Syamsul mengatakan, wow, kita ada Profesor X kita malam ni ya. Jamal, Raslan.
Monyet lah. Sial lah.
Atau betul.
Bolan. Atau bolan.
Alright guys, dengan itu berakhirlah segmen ini dan kita akan ke plot menarik kita yang pertama. Alright, so plot menarik kita yang pertama adalah tentang Inferno, satu story arc yang legendary daripada komik X-Men zaman 1980-an. Dalam segmen ini kita akan bincangkan tentang Mr. Sinister dan juga Goblin Queen. Jadi soalan pertama adalah untuk Jamal ya. Apakah pendapat anda tentang plot twist bahawa Mr. Sinister lah yang mengklonkan Jean Grey untuk mendapatkan genetik Scott Summers melalui anak mereka, Nathan Summers. So silakan.
Okay, so untuk orang-orang yang baru tengok dan tak familiar dengan backstory ni, korang mungkin akan rasa, aku harap korang akan rasa mind blown sebab masa Marvel buat benda ni dan dia reveal benda ni, aku rasa satu dunia macam WTF lah. Macam, why? Apa benda sel? And then it opened up so many story possibilities. I will not talk about the background just yet that lead up to that shit. It is shit by the way. Tetapi that plot twist was one of the few at that point clone storylines that worked. Dan Mr. Sinister ni memang nama dia Sinister, muka dia pun Sinister, gigi dia pun dia tajam-tajam, dia asah. Lepas tu Daripada dulu sampai sekarang, daripada kau baca komik, harap-harap dalam kartun pun sama. Kalau kau tembak dia kat mana-mana dan badan dia hancur, dia takkan mati. Sebab dia punya tujuan asal adalah macam aku tak payah jadi tier 1 villain, aku tak payah jadi tier S. Aku tak payah jadi tier S villain. Aku tak ingin jadi tier S villain. Aku just nak jadi villain yang boleh buat benda yang paling sinister yang dia nak buat. Dan antara benda yang paling sinister adalah benda ni. Di mana dia nak create the strongest mutant possible, and then dia buat selective breeding, di mana dia ambil gene 2 orang mutant yang dia rasa paling kuat pada ketika itu, which is Scott Summers dengan Jean Grey, dan dia crossbreed, so dia orang dapat anak. So lepas tu dia nak colek anak tu, dia nak manipulate anak tu jadi dia punya hamba. Yes. Apa yang ni? Lisan Al-Qaid. Sebenarnya dia Benny Gesserit. BG, Mr. Sinister BG. Dia kena pakai chains macam hip hop. Okay, anyway, so itu dia punya backstory lah, ataupun secara ringkasnya. And dia ada banyak lagi benda-benda yang sinister, di mana macam Apocalypse buat benda, lepas tu dia tak silap tapi dia piggyback on Apocalypse punya plan. Lepas tu bila X-Men ngamuk, X-Men semua kejar Apocalypse, dia kat sebelah tu hi aku dapat apa yang aku nak. So memang celaka, dan dia jarang dikredit oleh orang ramai sebagai atas kepandaian dia. Tetapi bila nama dia naik, Beast akan kalut. Bila nama dia naik, Professor X akan pening. Bila nama dia naik, Scott Summers Cyclops akan cuak. So this is Mr. Sinister. So dan dia tak ada ulterior motif yang besar. Dia just nak I want to create the strongest mutant, and then aku nak control dia. And interestingly, the technovirus, the one that Nathan got infected with, it depends on when you want to cut the story lah kalau ikut law. So bila you cut at a certain point, macam dalam kartun, it's kalau that entire process was completed, then Nathan would have been strong because he would have incorporated all that into his body, and then Mr. Sinister akan bagi dia cure ataupun antidote, dan as a result benda tu Mr. Sinister akan guna untuk control Nathan. Tetapi disebabkan macam dalam komik tu dia dikeluarkan daripada tube tu terlebih dahulu, dan Mr. Sinister tak boleh nak siapkan procedure dia, maka benda tu jadi virus lah. So too bad. So that is what Mr. Sinister wants to do, and I think that is bullshit lah. Dia itu memang celaka lah. I think when the rest of the world found out that when this was revealed to the world, semua orang macam, weh, apa hal sial? Because for a long time Scott Summers dengan Jean Grey was the best pairing, and then bila Jean Grey mati dalam storyline Inferno, di mana dia sacrifice diri dia setelah diri dia dikuasai atau her body and mind was taken over by the Phoenix Force, semua orang ingat dia mati. So at this point, this is where things became basically Madeline Pryor was not supposed to happen. So Madeline Pryor Jean Grey clone was not supposed to happen. What was supposed to happen was Chris Claremont baru masuk X-Men. Chris Claremont is a very popular and very acclaimed writer for the X-Men punya franchise lah. Dia mainly is Chris Claremont, Bob Harris was the editor, ada lagi a few people. But a lot of the historic X-Men run in the 80s and 90s was Chris Claremont, banyak Chris Claremont buat. So apa yang Chris Claremont nak buat adalah simple je. Bila Jean Grey mati, dia kata, okay, that is the first member of the first X-Men punya mati. And X-Men should be a story about growth, about evolution, about adulting, and kau boleh just move on with your life. So kau tak boleh nak fit in sebab kau mutant, kau tak nak fit in macam mana, kau masuk the Xavier School for gifted kids, kau dah belajar macam mana nak integrate their society, nak control power kau, and then kau keluar dan kau hidup. Okay, so bila Jean Grey mati, Claremont said, okay, this is Scott Summers punya goodbye. Scott Summers decides to leave the X-Men, and he says, okay, you know what, I'm going to retire. I'm going to go back to Alaska, help my foster parents, live with them, and then, just move on with life. I've had enough. I've experienced enough with the X-Men. And then he created Madeline Pryor. So, dan dia tak buat Madeline Pryor as a clone. Dia buat Madeline Pryor as a Jean Grey punya iras. So that when Scott jumpa dia, Scott macam, kau ni Jean ke? And then Jean
macam awet aku yang dah mati.
macam awet aku yang dah mati. Betul Madeline Pryor macam, apa hal kau? Dia lempang. Betul dia macam, aku bukan Jean Grey lah, aku Madeline Pryor, I am me, you know. And then Scott, that kerana dia macam tersentak, and then dia macam, you know what, I need to move on, but I get to move on with somebody who is not Jean, who doesn't have Jean's powers or personality. She just looks like Jean. So it's a story of him moving on. Lepas tu dia masuk reserve team X-Men, and siapa-siapa nak jadi Captain X-Men jadi lah, dia tak kisah. So Chris Claremont had that story, everybody was on board, everybody was fine, they wrote that. And then X Factor 1, the comic was launched. So X Factor 1, bila dia launch the comic tu, Marvel, the editorial team decided, okay, X-Men ni is a very good IP. So kita kena grow. So bila the original X-Men, after this huge incident, they moved on from X-Men, kenalah ada orang team baru ganti diorang. So team baru yang ganti diorang tu adalah team yang ada Storm, Colossus, Kitty Pryde, Nightcrawler, Wolverine. Aku tak ingat Forge dah masuk dulu ke tidak. And then there's one more, aku tak ingat. So then the original remaining 4 members went off to do what? Diorang tak tahu. Tapi diorang kata this is the right time to pecah title. So kita ada X-Men tapi team baru, line up baru. Tapi yang OG ni pergi mana? Dia buatlah team baru, which is X Factor. So X Factor was a team yang X-Men school punya graduates yang dah boleh bekerja. Dia first kerja class dengan government. Dia macam first class lah. So dia kerja dengan government, dia jadi government punya apa nama, it's not a black ops, dia bukan black ops team per se lah, tapi dia macam jadi government punya mutant based response punya unit. So bila dia decide nak buat title tu, and the editorial team was on board, what they did was they brought Jean back from the dead. So when they brought Jean back from the dead, sebab kata kalau 4 orang dah ada kat situ, kenapa lagi seorang tu tak ada? So bila dia buat macam tu, then cerita yang Chris Claremont dah tulis tu, Cyclops dengan Madeline Pryor, tak jadi. And what they did was they made Cyclops an asshole by leaving Madeline Pryor and his kid to go back ke masa tu Madeline Pryor belum pregnant lagi, to go back to X Factor to be with Jean Grey. So kalau ada banyak orang benci Cyclops, cerita berkimak dia. So and then X Factor turned out to be huge because melalui X Factor lah diorang introduce Apocalypse, and then macam boom, lepas tu semua orang lupa. And then macam, alamak, Madeline Pryor ni kita nak buat macam mana? And that's when they said, okay, you know what, let's make her a clone. So benda ni semua macam retcon atas retcon atas retcon atas retcon. So for the longest time, that did not change, and many people who read X-Men in the 90s suka Madeline Pryor and ada attachment atau suka the Cyclops and Jean Grey because of this story lah. This is the story that they like. So bila Madeline Pryor discover yang dia tu clone, dia macam masa tu lah dia jadi Goblin Queen. So aku rasa this story told everything, all that I said, tapi dia clean up in about 5 to 10 minutes, which I think was impressive. Aku rasa benda tu the writer kita kena puji. Dia tak bazir masa. 1 ayat, 2 ayat engkau clone. And then dia ada banyak buat flip tau. Dia ada
yang Beast punya backside manner tu. Menurut aku punya
itu bodoh sebenarnya.
Awak adalah clone, awak adalah tipu. Macam kibat.
Dia buat test je. Cepat gila. Tapi dia kelakar je sebab kau petik Beast kan. Ada satu scene tu aku rasa lawak gila. Kan masa tu Jean Grey baru bangun. Lepas tu Logan kat situ macam nak jiwang macam, let bro. And then lepas tu dia kata, I need to go and save Scott. Lepas tu Beast kata, but you're in no shape to go there. Your body is in no shape to go. Lepas tu ayat Jean best gila. Beast, please. Aku macam, kau nak cakap bitch, please. Tapi macam kau nak bagi, kau nak jaga rating. Anyway, sebenarnya scene tu dalam komik terbalik. Madeline Pryor bawa diri setelah dia kena abandon dengan Scott Summers. And then, bila dia kena tangkap dengan demon mana yang sebenarnya dalam komik, that was how she became the Goblin Queen. Dia jumpa demon. Lepas tu, and then Mr. Sinister jumpa dia semua. Dan lepas tu, Marauders nak cari dia, nak bunuh dia. Which was the kill Madeline Pryor plotline in the comics. Dia tengah ting-tong, lepas tu dia tengah lari, dia desperate, dia call X-Men. Can you save me? So, X-Men pergi selamatkan dia ke? Dia jumpa lagi satu demon yang selamatkan dia, something like that. So that bit, the writer for this X-Men 97 cleaned up. Tiba-tiba Jean Grey ketuk pintu. Tu sampai ke depan rumah. Aku macam, wait, shortcut gila babi awak ni. But you know what? I think we don't have time for this kind of backstories in the animated series. So all in all, aku rasa I'm not asking for these old stories, and I feel that the writer managed to summarize everything and give a clean ni. And personally I like the fact that yang cakap goodbye to Nathan was not Jean Grey, it was Madeline Pryor. That was actually a very nice touch, because memang darah dia pun, memang badan dia pun yang mengandung. Walaupun kalau kau baca komik dan kau purist, kau akan kata tipu lah dia boleh beranak, padahal dia clone, dia adalah figure tau. Dia macam is a mannequin. It's like just a fake body yang, and in the comics kita tak tahu ada biological functions ke tidak. Lalas kau boleh kahwin dengan kau sama seperti kau boleh beranak. So aku tak, it's comics man, don't ask too much. So I don't know, but that is dia lah. And this is what Mr. Sinister did to the X-Men yang membuatkan dia jahat gila babi on top of other things. So I think by and large they delivered on that, and if there was an introduction in 97 for Mr. Sinister, this was done fairly well. Not the best, but it was done very well. Aku enjoyed this series as much as aku nak nitpick, sebab dalam cerita ni Scott Summers nampak macam asshole gila babi. I will not abandon my kid.
Bye.
Betul dia bilang.
I cannot make this decision.
I cannot be a part of this. I cannot. Wait, kau cakap kau tak. Does any of you experience abandonment before? Betul kau belah. Macam why?
I will not be like my father. Lepas tu dia belah like his father.
Betul dia belah. Bodoh gila. Padahal bapak dia corsair kot. Bapak dia adalah captain kepada outfit dekat space. Senang cerita bapak dia adalah captain kepada another Guardians of the Galaxy version set lain lah. Dan dia bukan abandon pun. Plane dia crash sebab bapak dia kena tangkap. So tinggal dia dengan adik dia je. Dia dengan Alex je. Lepas tu macam dalam cerita ni dia emo. Aku macam, I thought this series is gonna make Cyclops less bad because writers just don't seem to like him. Dan nak jadi juga. Aku macam aduh letih lah. So
kita akan bincangkan plot hole tu dengan lebih mendalam dalam segmen kedua. Tapi macam yang kita bincangkan minggu lepas dengan Fik dengan Sifudin pun, apa yang View Di Mayo buat dalam setiap minggu melalui X-Men 97 ialah dia ambil 3 hingga 4 storyline, lepas tu dia masukkan jadi satu episod. So dalam episod ni sendiri, episod 3 kita dapat Inferno, kita dapat ASKANI'SON, dan kita ada permulaan
kita dapat dia ASKANI'SON tu aku tak tahu lah, sebab giving it to Bishop was actually a cool twist. I liked it. But it's Askani, bro. So I wanted to see Askani, and I wanted to see Askani with X Factor, because that was when it happened. That was when you see the introduction of Archangel. So I don't know.
Dia agak untuk uncle-uncle yang 90-an ni agak susah pasal kita dah tied to stories from 20 years ago. So kita betul apa tu macam ni. Macam tu lah. Tapi welcome to the MCU lah, di mana Civil War ialah 6 orang lawan 6 orang je, sedangkan dalam komik berpuluh-puluh beratus-ratus superhero kot. Betul lah. Alright, soalan kedua adalah untuk Sifudin. Apakah pendapat anda tentang plot twist kedua di mana Goblin Queen telah diinsafkan oleh Jean Grey and then bekerjasama dengan Cyclops untuk menupaskan Mr. Sinister? Yang ni pun rasa macam shortcut juga storytelling dia, macam tu je. So silakan Sifudin, apa pendapat kau?
This one kan, jawapan saya kita nak kena balik ke episod 2. Sebab ada satu babak antara Storm dengan Madeline Pryor. Masa tu Madeline cakap dia kalau boleh dia nak anak dia normal, bukan mutant. And then does that make me a bad mother? And then Storm jawab no. Does that make me a bad person? And then Storm said no, you sound like a mother. Itu jawapan Storm kepada Madeline Pryor. So I guess benda tu ultimately takes over for the character of Madeline Pryor, even though dia adalah Goblin Queen time tu. Tapi benda tu ultimately menunjukkan yang dia seorang ibu. So final dengan bantuan Jean, dia dapat lepaskan diri dia daripada pegangan Mr. Sinister, dia punya benda tu hancur kan, jam tu hancur. And then because of the strong mother feeling dia, rasa keibuan dia tu tinggi sangat, dia bekerjasama dengan Cyclops untuk selamatkan anak dia lah daripada Mr. Sinister yang dia tahu adalah a force of evil, yang even dia pun tahulah benda tu, dia pun jahat lah. Okay, so that is basically I think how the story was supposed to go, like benda yang patut, for me that's how I see it. Dia sebagai seorang ibu nak selamatkan anak dia. It's for me bagus sebab although cerita ni pasal mutants, pasal superheroes, superpowers, but at the end of the day it's very human, motherly feelings and whatever. Benda tu yang take over Madeline Pryor, yang take over Goblin Queen, and then selamatkan Nathan at the end. So kalau nak fikir balik, dia buat benda yang sama lagi sekali at the end of the episode, masa dia decide untuk selamatkan Nathan dengan hantar Nathan ke future, sebab yang penting untuk dia adalah anak dia tu selamat, anak dia dapat membesar, bukannya anak dia sentiasa dengan dia. So dia punya rasa keibuan tu lah yang take over. Honestly, rasa macam terlalu cepat. Even saya tak baca komik tahun 90-an, saya belum lahir masa tu. Tapi saya rasa terlalu cepat. Macam saya bayangkan this episode akan berterusan, like this Goblin Queen punya story akan berterusan for a few weeks. So beberapa episode, and then dia habis dalam sekelip mata. Saya writing okay, maksudnya saya still faham dan the story goes maksudnya smooth je, cantik je pada saya lah. Tapi dia terlalu laju for me. So saya suka, tapi pada masa sama saya macam okay, kalau dia expand sikit, tunjuk lebih struggle, better kot. But overall I still enjoyed this whole plot twist lah, yang buatkan saya rasa, saya teringat lah masa dia macam hilang dia punya influence daripada Mr. Sinister tu, saya teringat babak dengan Storm tu. So tu yang buat saya rasa dia buat benda yang dia selamatkan anak dia lah, walaupun dengan Cyclops, someone yang basically dah betray dia dalam episod tu.
Yeah.
Cyclops macam tak ada perasaan langsung. Dia nampak jin yang sebenar, dia macam okay, bye bye Madrid Prime. Macam terus kat situ juga. Betul. Dia tak ada macam let it go slow. Tak ada. Terus pergi macam okay, bye bye, terus pergi kat situ. Logan pun sama kan, tapi Logan memang terus akan dapat lah. So yeah, itulah, tu pandangan saya. That's how I see it.
Oh, I detect another Wolverine fanboy. Wolverine tak ada appearance pun. Tak, aku baca komen. Wolverine tak buat appearance pun, kecuali tunggu tepi katil, harap-harap Jin tolonglah jangan lupa yang aku pun ceritakan kau. Apa lacau sial.
Kan dia kata look deeper.
You mean more to us? ... more to me.
Lepas tu Jin dekat situ juga, Jin tu Scott. Dia macam
bro, read the room. Tolong lah.
Betul.
Tapi aku setuju dengan point apa nama Sifuddin, sebab bila dia terlalu cepat, I get, kalau yang this one, I think I can respect that it's quick because it's not the story about Phoenix, cool. It's not the story about Nathan going to the future, becoming Nathan Dayspring, blah blah blah, cool. This is specifically the story of dia discover Jean dengan Madeline Pryor, and Madeline is the clone of Jean. I get it. So maybe we don't need 2 episodes for this. I accept that. But it still felt fast. Dan dia rasa macam it could use an extra 5 minutes. Maybe a longer scene between Jean and Madeline, a scene between Jean, Madeline and Scott, because that was not addressed. I like the fact that they paid attention to the motherly side. Macam dia cakap Jean dengan Madeline having that conversation, and then Madeline leaving on her own accord, which is great. Lepas tu Madeline saving her kid with Cyclops. That's nice, but dia ada resolution dekat situ. So benda-benda tu okay lah. Cuma it's just macam now what's going to happen? Because we don't know if they are doing things at this pace. How many episodes are we going to get about the future? Stop dengan Forge, one episode, we don't know, you know, and what direction are they going to go with that? So, and then tak ada orang tanya, Jean, we thought you were dead. Tak ada orang cakap apa-apa. Macam, oh, dah, dia dah balik. Macam, ya Allah, awek ni, dia meletup. Semua orang ingat dia meletup, padahal dia dah masuk suspended animation kat dalam laut, bawah laut semua, tak ada orang tahu. Alih-alih dia sampai sorang-sorang. Tak ada call, tak ada apa-apa. Aku macam aneh gila. Like, I know man. But it's a cartoon, so let's not overthink it lah.
Aku setuju dengan apa yang Jamal cakap. I wish dia just tambah 10 minit lagi. Just to like have a few more scenes. And then it would be okay lah. Pasal Magneto tiba-tiba, aku tahu dekat mana guys. Lepas tu dia tiba-tiba dah sampai Goblin Queen punya lab. Ha? Bila
Tak,
kau tahu kau baru balik dating. Kau baru balik dating dengan Rogue kot. Macam sial je.
Tak, Nick, yang lagi best lepas dia menang lawan Goblin Queen, dia terus sampai dalam lab Mr. Sinister.
Betul. Random.
Dia tak ada macam okay, welcome back Jean. Lepas tu macam, so what do we do now? And then Madeline Pryor cakap, I need to save Nathan. We need to save Nathan. Lepas tu semua orang sampai macam, okay, let's go to Nathan. Lepas tu next scene, cut to Mr. Sinister punya lab. Okay, that would have made sense. Ini macam, dia diri dengan Scott, puk, dia dekat, dia diri kat mana entah. Lepas tu tup-tup dia dah sampai dengan dalam. Yang best dia kat dalam Mr. Sinister punya lab, dia dengan Scott sahaja. Orang lain tak ada.
Magneto semua yang pergi mana sia? Kau pergi mana? Pelik lah. Dia macam ada scene kena cut. Sedangkan ni animasi tau. Macam mana kau nak cut? Aku tak tahu tu. Alright guys, so dengan itu berakhirlah segmen ini dan kita akan ke plot menarik kita yang kedua. Alright, so plot menarik kita yang kedua adalah tentang story arc ASKAN'ISON daripada tahun 1990-an. So yes, kita ada storyline Inferno daripada 80-an, sekarang di-overlapkan dengan ASKAN'ISON daripada 90-an. Juga dua soalan pertama adalah untuk Jamal. Apakah pendapat anda tentang the techno-organic virus yang diberi oleh Mr. Sinister kepada Nathan Summers untuk membuatkan bayi tersebut lebih kuat, tapi pasal dia kena sailang, tiba-tiba budak tu terus kena virus je. Jadi keputusan Goblin Queen untuk menghantar Nathan ke masa depan dengan Bishop supaya dapat mencari penawar tu, apa pendapat kau? Dan adakah ini sebenarnya asal usul kabel? Jeng. Silakan.
So for me, you were in the group. Aku the moment scene tu masuk, aku duk type ASKAN'ISON. Okay, anyway, basically kepada orang yang enjoy the episode, aku tak nak kacau. Sebab aku pun enjoy the episode, but spoiler alert lah. Scott tak ambil kursus kahwin, so sebab tu dia gagal. Tak tahu, I don't know. Maybe dia kena pergi jumpa terapis lah. So this feels like the origins for Cable, because semua orang tahu Nathan adalah anak Scott dengan Madeline Pryor / Jean Grey. Cable dan Nathan, nama dia Nathan Summers. Lepas tu Nathan bila Nathan ada technovirus, we cannot save him here. And then ASKAN'ISON datang, dan ASKAN'ISON kena datang sebab that was the prophecy. She had to come and bring Cable and bring Nathan Summers back. Tapi bila dia dah sampai kat sana, dia nak sorok dekat orang-orang Apocalypse dan orang-orang Mr. Sinister. Yang Summers ada dekat future, so dia tukar nama jadi Nathan Dayspring. Dan walaupun dia ada cure, tetapi sebab ASKAN'ISON ni orang-orang macam marginalized, dia tak boleh cure the whole body, which is why Cable punya half body is cyborg and cybernetics, sebab benda tu dah kena makan dengan technovirus. Sebab tu Cable cool, sebab setengah badan dia cybernetics, setengah badan dia lagi yang tak sempat dimakan technovirus adalah manusia, tetapi dia ada kuasa telepathy mak dia, dan dia ada sedikit kuasa telekinesis mak dia. Tapi dia sebab dia membesar dengan ASKAN'ISON, dengan ASKANI, dia sangat mahir dengan cybernetics. So dialah design macam-macam benda, pistol yang boleh buka. Dia design dia punya time travelling punya band. Dan dia adalah seorang watak yang sangat-sangat popular, created by pelukis yang sangat banyak orang tak suka bernama Rob Liefeld. Dia sebab dia tak ada lengan. Anyway, So Cable is a cool character, and it is what a lot of people had wanted to see from the early days of the X-Men, which is Cyclops and Jean Grey gets married and then have a kid. So cerita dia sebenarnya berubah dari dia tukar daripada komik. So daripada komik, bila X Factor jadi, when the original X-Men was hired by the government to become X Factor, handled by Valerie Cooper, and then they are replaced by a bunch of new X-Men. One of the earliest storylines was where masa tu Scott dah ambil custody anak. So dia dengan Jean Grey, dengan the rest dia ada teammates duduk dekat bangunan X Factor, macam Avengers Towers tapi dia X Factor building. Kat bandar mana aku tak ingat. And then Nathan was living with them. They were looking after Nathan. Masa tu Madeline Pride tak tahu pergi mana dah. Rob Liefeld is good. Aku tak nak kacau. So and then Apocalypse datang. So Apocalypse datang, aku dah tak ingat dah sama ada dia nak culik Nathan. Aku rasa dia nak culik Nathan juga kot, because word of Mr. Sinister punya eksperimen di mana dia berjaya buat selective breeding using the genes of the most powerful mutants at that point in time, or potentially most powerful mutants at that point in time, has spread around the villain punya ni lah circle. So Apocalypse datang nak ambil, and then masa Apocalypse datang tu dia bawa dia punya 4 horsemen. So tak silap aku, this was the introduction of Apocalypse and the introduction of 4 horsemen. So 4 horsemen ni adalah Caliban, Death, Pestilence, lagi seorang aku tak ingat, aku tak ingat yang last ni. So Caliban eventually masuk Marauders. Death is actually Archangel. Betul. And then Pestilence is actually and then Famine, that's the last one. Famine ni bahaya. You cannot touch her. The moment you touch her, you'll be struck by famine and hunger and you will die. Itu is a very weird mutant power. Pestilence aku tengok apa benda. Death was Archangel yang telah dicolek oleh siapa nama ni, Apocalypse, dan sayap burung dia telah ditukar dengan sayap besi yang razor sharp. Bayangkan kita cukur tu, pisau cukur tu adalah sayap Archangel. Jadi bila dia terbang, benda tu menjerit. And then dia boleh shoot feathers dia, dan dia punya feather tu bersalut poison, neurotoxin. So dia akan paralyze you. So Apocalypse nak take over the world, lepas tu dia nak colek Nathan Summers, and then dia orang infiltrate the X Factor punya building. Lepas tu masa dia orang tengah lawan, and then when they were just about to lose, Askani sampai. Lepas tu Apocalypse lari, and then dia orang tanya Askani, kau ni siapa? Tadi kita baru lepas lawan Apocalypse, lepas tu nak kena lawan kau pula. Lepas tu cakap, aku Askani, aku datang dari future, I'm here to save your son. So sekarang ni aku kena tolong korang selamatkan anak korang daripada Apocalypse. Lepas tu selamatkan teammate korang, Archangel. Lepas tu aku kena bawa anak kau pergi future. So they did the mission, save Archangel, save Nathan, and then Archangel lari sebab macam you give me my memory back. I do not accept myself. Kulit aku dah jadi biru, sayap aku dah jadi besi, I am ugly. I am not angel anymore, I am Archangel, whatever. Lepas tu lepas dia orang settle benda tu, Askani cakap, okay, anak korang ni tak boleh save kat sini, sebab tu aku datang ni pun sebab prophecy. So aku kena datang selamatkan dia. So aku datang a little bit too late. So I need to bring him over to the future. If I don't bring him over to the future, my future will cease to exist. So aku memang kena bawa dia pergi future. He will be the savior of our people. So just rest assured that your son will play a big role in the future. Walaupun kau dah tak boleh jumpa dia. So dia cakap kat Scott, dia cakap dekat Jean, you have to say goodbye. So aku ada komik tu. Dalam cerita tu, Scott bukan asshole Dia kata, aku sayang kau, aku nak tengok engkau membesar. I've always wanted to do things like I wish I could do to my son, but I cannot do it with you. But you living is the best thing I can do for you as a father. So Scott said that in the damn comics. So dalam kartun ni dia tak cakap macam tu, I cannot be a part of this. So ya Allah Muhammad. So and then Jean dengan Scott macam merelakan Askani pergi dengan Cable. And then I think around 10 to 15 years later, within 10 to 15 years later, Cable return, and then macam after a while yang orang tak tahu Cable ni daripada mana, tiba-tiba dia reveal, my name is Nathan. Terus semua orang anak Scott dengan Jean. So masa tu Cable dah semua
lagi tua. Lagi tua dia orang.
Dia lagi tua. So basically
40-year-old.
Yang bestnya, so macam ni lah. Kepada fans Dragon Ball Z yang suka Trunks, Cable is Trunks. There is no argument whether they are cool or not. They are cool period. Kau tak boleh nak argue benda tu. Siapa persoalkan Cable tak cool, pelik. Dia memang macam, bro, kau duduk kat situ seorang-seorang, tak ada orang nak layan kau. But yeah, so Cable is Trunks ini. So that is why Cable is cool. So for me, this change yang Bishop bawa in the cartoon is interesting. Sebab, yeah, it works. Sebab Bishop is there, and daripada first episode, Bishop cakap, aku nak balik, aku tengah repair jam, aku nak balik, aku tengah repair jam. So, bila dia dah repair, it has only enough juice to bring me and Nathan. So it makes sense. Aku tak question benda tu. It is kind of cool as well because Bishop is an alternate future, not necessarily the same future as Cable. So if they want to put them together in the same future, tapi mungkin ini 50 tahun lebih awal daripada ni, I am cool with that. So I think it's all right. The way they did it is definitely nice. Purists akan suka ke tak? I can expect them to not like it because Askani tu penting. Askani tu is a very important moment lah. So kalau orang marah, dia marah sebab benda ni. Macam you can still bring Askani to save Nathan. Kenapa kena Bishop? Tu je lah. But it's hard to argue because kalau kau tengok macam mana Jean Grey dengan Madeline Pryor punya character was resolved, that is like even better than the comics. Dia buat benda tu dalam 10 minit. Dalam comics banyak gila isu tak settle. So you know what? I am happy to take it. Kalau dia bagi Askani dalam shape yang lain, maybe macam contoh bila Bishop sampai kat future, instead of him meeting Cable, dia jumpa Askani. You know what? That is pretty sweet. I like it. So aku tak berani nak cakap banyak-banyak sangat, but I'm okay with it. This is why it is becoming promising X-Men 97 ni, because when they change and they do it right, macam there's no argument. Because we have a reference, and the reference is the original lore or IP. And when you are doing that, you don't take the one-liner fact that, Jean Grey dengan Madeline Pryor clone. Tak. Kau kena ambil lock, stock and barrel. Macam mana, how convoluted their history is. Kau kena ambil semua benda tu. Dan kau kena nampak yang macam the writer for X-Men 97 ni cleaned it up. So mungkin Madeline Pryor dengan Jean Grey punya ni, dia clean it up, thank you. Tapi mungkin bila dia buat Age of Apocalypse nanti, aku tak suka, I don't know. It remains to be seen. Because Technovirus is a very important moment. Benda tu adalah benda yang penting dalam X-Men. X-Men dah have lost kids, have lost young mutants to the Technovirus, which then led to the formation of Generation X, which is their young, macam diorang punya high school version of mutants. And then Technovirus pernah diambil dan digunakan Strife, which is Cable punya clone, banyak gila clone dalam X-Men Cable punya clone, to shoot Professor X. And then Professor X dalam komatos hampir mati. And that was a 12-issue mini-series called The Executioner Song, my favorite X-Men crossover, di mana Strife, clone Cable tu, dia pakai baju macam Cable, dia masuk X-Mansion, semua orang kata, Cable, lama tak jumpa, kau lepak sini buat apa? Tak aja saja nak lepak korang. Professor X, I nak jumpa you. Depan Professor X, bawa keluar pistol, dia tembak. Lepas tu dia belah.
Wah kan?
Itu semua orang
Klasik
macam... Klasik gila. So for the next 10 issues, semua orang pergi kejar Cable, and the first thing they did was dia pergi cari X-Force. Sebab X-Force adalah Cable punya outfit. So X-Force ada Shatterstar, Warpath semua tu. So macam X-Force macam, kita dah tak jumpa Cable 8 bulan lah, pasal kau tiba-tiba datang cari kita orang ni, leave us alone. Lepas tu kejar, cari Apocalypse, cari Mr. Sinister, cari macam-macam. So last macam, lah babi Strife buat. So kenapa Strife buat adalah, so aku tak nak spoil. So we are moving, I don't know if we're going to get those sort of stuff, you know, which if we do might just be great because they dah introduce Technovirus tu, and immediately dia dah bagi kita Cable. So and then belum sempat kita puas dengan cerita ni, dia dah terus bagi scene Storm jumpa Forge, which for many Storm fans was a huge moment. So kalau aku tak nak spoil lagi lah, because Storm meeting Forge is very, very, very important. It's very important. Dia sangat penting. Kena ada. Kalau Forge tak jumpa Storm, Storm will not be Storm, Forge will not be Forge, X-Men will not be X-Men. That is it's very important.
Kita akan bincangkan dalam segmen seterusnya tentang Storm dengan Forge. Jadi soalan kedua untuk segmen ini, ASKAN'ISON, adalah untuk Saifuddin. Apakah pendapat anda tentang The X-Men dengan selamba je melepaskan The Goblin Queen ataupun Madeline Pryor, iaitu clone Jean Grey, macam tu je di penghujung episod. Dia dah kacau dia orang for like half the episode, hancur-hancurkan bangunan, bilik Jean dah jadi berselerak. And then dia macam, okay, you can go have your own life. Random gila. Adakah ini satu plot hole? Apa pendapat kau, Sipudin? Silakan. You're mute bro. Kau kena unmutekan diri kau dulu. Silakan.
Oh, sorry.
Alright, silakan.
Okay, it's not a plot hole for me lah. Sebab it screams Madeline Pryor will return lah. She's coming back. Itu I think why diorang buat benda ni macam nampak macam mudah sangat. So Madeline, memang daripada like the first episode pun kita nampak yang dia nak bina a new life. So this is basically the end of that story lah, di mana dia dapat bina a new life. Tapi it's not the end of Madeline Pryor dalam story X-Men ni. So I don't know bila kita akan jumpa dia balik, but kita akan jumpa dia balik. However, it's still a bit weird lah. So, macam supposedly detain dia sekejap ke, ataupun bagi kita scene yang diorang persoalkan dia punya motivation sekarang. Ada satu scene dia borak dengan Jean, and then like that's it. Dia kata don't call me Jean anymore, call me Madeline Pryor. That's it. Dia macam okay, itu je. So it's a bit, I feel like walaupun story dia mostly is nice, dia cara dia not the like this, the end the story, the end the episode walaupun laju tapi it's nice. This one is again macam open ended lah. Tu yang saya cakap tu, dia akan kembali for some reason. I don't know how, when, why, but she will return. And for me, Madeline Pryor coming back is good sebab so far she's one of the best character dalam this season. And I want to see more of Madeline Pryor, and nak tengok dynamic antara dia. Lepas tu kalau dia macam dengan Jean, adakah dia akan lawan lepas ni ataupun diorang akan gabung maybe untuk buat something in the future. I don't know apa Madeline Pryor buat dalam komik, but I feel like dalam animasi ni maybe she's gonna do something big lah. Dia macam dah set up sebagai satu karakter yang penting. So lepas ni kita akan pergi ke another storyline for another very important character, for Storm. And then nanti by the end of the season diorang akan bertemu balik. Sebab kalau kita fikir balik, daripada awal musim Storm rapat dengan Madeline Pryor, bukan dengan Jean. Tapi Storm ingat tu Jean kan. So maybe that connection yang Storm dengan Madeline Pryor ada tu akan reignite balik. Diorang akan buat something by the end of the episode, season. Macam tu lah. But saya tak rasa ni plot hole sebab saya nak tahu banyak kali dah ulang kan, dia akan return. And itulah, tapi saya memang tak puas hati lah. Betul lah, macam kenapa diorang lepaskan tanpa bagi kita sebarang persoalan tau. Kita pun macam terkejut. Saya pun macam habis dah. Dah habis dah.
Dia macam hilang satu babak kan. Satu babak macam Magneto sound dia ke, Beast sound dia ke, macam kau ni tak patut jahat.
What happened to Magneto in this episode, by the way? Dia macam lawan betul cedera, and then he's gone. What happened to Magneto? Kata leader. And then Cyclops like dia dah lepaskan terus. I mean Cyclops pun dah terlepas terus. Memang dah tak nak, dah macam dia kata dah bukan maharam aku. Tak nak tentu lagi. Terus belah je. So it's a bit weird, but at the same time it's saya berharap dia akan kembali balik lah. That's what I want. Yeah.
Aku harap this feels like a bukan plot hole tapi macam we are missing one scene of like what happened to Magneto, when did they come back, because masa dia balik tu the only cara kau nak tahu Jean Grey ataupun Madeline Pryor ialah seorang ikat rambut, seorang lagi tak ikat rambut. So it's like scene yang masa the baby was given away tu, aku macam tu Jean Grey ke? Until like kau tengok Jean Grey masih ikat rambut, then aku macam that was Madeline Pryor. So it's like a weird pacing, or it's missing one or two scenes. So what the fuck, man? I don't know what happened with them. Agak pelik. From a writer standpoint, apa pendapat kau, Jamal? Was there something wrong in the writer's room yang diorang tak animate the scenes ke apa?
I don't think so. I think if anything this was because I refuse to believe that if you can clean up all the convoluted backstories, and not just speaking on it for this episode, for the previous first two episodes, I don't think that the writers would make such a careless mistake of missing a scene and not realizing that while the pacing is good and fast, it's missing one or two scenes or one or two moments. So I refuse to believe that a team that can write and adapt this well or effectively enough misses those scenes. So benda ni must have been a post-production punya decision. I have a feeling. Because it feels like it's a cut as opposed to and the way the scenes were that ended up in the episode, the way the scenes ended or the way the scenes were written feels as if it has another scene after that. Because I don't think I complained about this about the first two episodes. Bila aku tengok macam okay, wow lajunya tu je. Means tak ada scene yang missing. Meaning story beat tu
Tapi
ada.
dalam episode ni ada rasa macam
okay macam I mean okay, yeah. And then okay, yeah. I mean boleh tapi so kau rasa macam ada story beat yang missing. So maybe it's a 15-20 second scene yang tu aku cakap tadi. This episode needs just 5 extra minutes. One scene for about 45 seconds, another scene for about 2 minutes, another scene for about another 20 seconds. Then all those are enough to fill in it. Maybe diorang rasa diorang nak, kalau benda ni post dan those scenes are written, maybe diorang rasa macam kita nak pacing dia lagi laju sebab kalau ada sini slow down sikit. But I don't know man. I don't know. I think budak mungkin tak fikir tapi orang akan perasan lah macam takkan Jin sampai tak ada orang tanya dia kau apa jadi kat kau. Itu paling basic. Lepas tu takkan tak ada scene Madeline Pryor gaduh dengan Jin sebelum Madeline Pryor lari. Basic. And then after all that, takkan tak ada scene diorang confer. Okay, Goblin Queen is back. But that's just one half of the problem solved. What do we do about Nathan? Takkan faham. You need that ni. So itulah. But you know, it is what it is.
Ada possibility tak dia abang habiskan dulu?
Tak habis.
Tak tanya, ada possibility tak dia akan somehow macam bawa ke episod 4 nanti, macam dia persoalkan dekat episod 4. So like ada someone buat benda tu.
Ada, boleh, tapi then dia jadi cheap lah benda tu sebab kalau dalam episod 4 dia tie up this loose end, meaning ada Jin tengah macam duduk dekat anjung rumah ke balcony ke, lepas tu macam atau tengok gambar Scott dengan Madeline Pryor, lepas tu Scott masuk bilik atau Wolverine Logan masuk bilik, lepas tu macam you fikir apa tu? Lepas tu macam tak ada, aku fikirkan semua benda yang banyak benda yang aku dah terlepas. Lepas tu macam tapi aku rasa benda ni macam aku punya memory sebab aku dengan Madeline Pryor dah macam dah share memory, but I don't know how to feel. Lepas tu macam Logan tanya but what happened to you, Jin? What actually happened? We all saw you die. I don't know. I just woke up and the first thing I thought of was coming back to me. So if that was if that is the way, see, I already wrote a scene out tau. So let's just say that is the scene that they are giving us in episode 4. Then the question is, that was a 20-minute scene. A 20-second punya scene. Letak je lah dalam episode 3. Kenapa dah letak episode 4? You know? So, you faham tak? So kita tak tahu lah. But for the most part, the episode worked. Basically, the main things that they need to nail, they nailed it. So, I guess it's a good thing that we are talking about these little things. We are nitpicking. Meaning tak ada complaints langsung. I think that is better than, you know, they're trying to do that, lepas tu you rasa macam episode 1 dengan 2 best tapi episode 3 pacing dia off sikit, and then you know, you never know kan.
It's just weird to view, like bila kau nampak dua Jean Grey dan baru kau perasan Jean Grey sebenarnya ikat rambut. So suddenly kau ditransported balik kepada scene dengan Bishop ni, baru kau perasan tu bukan Jean Grey, that was Madeline Pryor.
Aku kena tengok 3 kali. Aku kena tengok 3 kali dan aku tak perasan, aku tak kisah rambut, aku tengok baju. Madeline Pryor pakai baju hijau, baby T hijau, Jean Grey pakai baby T pakai baby T pink ke merah. So that was it. And then Jean Grey ikat rambut lah. So that was not done well lah. What could have happened? Like let's just say, tapi ni hindsight ni kita sembang hindsight senang je. Tapi kalau buat in the team kadang-kadang terlepas. What I would have done is bila Beast kata, and I don't like ni nitpick. I don't like how how the conversation between Beast and Jean Grey immediately hinted to anak ni kena pergi future. Because Beast cakap, we cannot, we do not have, ayat dia lah, we do not have a cure for this in our lifetime. Lepas tu ayat Jean, meaning there might be a cure in the future. Terus
Betul tak?
pandang
Pasal
Bishop
Bishop tengah
Kau
main
punya
dengan jam ni kan. Dia
Dia
tengah
tengah
main
main
dengan jam.
jam.
Orang
Aku
apa hal?
Ya,
Orang
Allah.
apa hal? Aku baru dapat jam aku lah. Aku
Itulah
baru
pasal.
dapat jam aku.
Tak, basically kalau cerita ni cerita kat Malaysia kan. Lepas tu Bishop tengah buat ni dia dengar tapi dia tak pay attention. Lepas tu tiba-tiba dia perasan semua orang senyap. Lepas tu dia paling belakang. Oh, mentang-mentang aku tengah godek-godek jam aku, semua orang duk pandang aku lah ni. Apa benda? Jadi dia akan jadi scene macam tu. But jokes aside, how I would have written that, how would have tweaked that scene a little bit would have been macam, Beast is right. That we do have cure for the technovirus in our time. Or what is the best part is masa baby tu masuk, I would have written Bishop yang cakap that's a technovirus. Lepas tu macam Beast kata a technovirus, it was we have a cure for it in our time, but that is fatal. You don't know about it now. So and then dia bagi one line je. It's a techno-organic virus that eats your body and replaces your body into mechanical parts. And then you die. Lepas tu Beast kata, oh my god. Lepas tu Beast check, oh yes, we don't have a cure for this. All my tests are inconclusive. And since Bishop is saying that we do not have the cure in our time. Sebab apa? Bishop dah cakap, this is a technovirus, I recognize this from my future. Nampak tak? So that kecanggungan tu dah hilang. And then bila Beast cakap macam tu, then Beast akan terus pandang, it's not my place to say this, but Scott, Jean, Madeline should be in the scene. Scott, Jean, Goblin Queen, Nathan needs to go. And then macam, Scott kata macam, no, I just had a baby. I never had time with my dad. I was abandoned. I don't know how to be a part of this. Lepas tu macam Bishop cakap, pergi dekat Beast, lepas tu Bishop cakap, I think we should give them this moment. Pak, habis. Then you have a scene where Madeline Pryor is trying to say goodbye to the baby and Jean Grey is there and they are having that scene. Then it ties everything up. And then ending macam mana kita dapat tadi. Bishop buka portal, diorang masuk tapi ada Scott dengan ada Jean Grey kat belakang Madeline Pryor. Then it becomes nicer to see because Scott relents that ni Madeline Pryor punya anak and this is her moment. She has been through a lot. And dia dah dapat Jean balik, so dia patutnya happy. And then bila Bishop dah belah, lepas tu Scott breaks down and Scott says, I cannot be a part of this. I cannot be a part of this. I do not know what to do. I don't know how to deal with this. Scott leaves, and that's when Madeline and Jean has their last conversation. Meaning, that's it. So that's how I would have done it. So it's a very clean from the knee. Dia resolve yang diorang dah jumpa. Dia addresses the fact that there are two mothers or rather two wives. It explains how Beast discovered it was a techno-organic virus because Bishop yang buka mulut. Tapi sebab Bishop yang buka mulut, then it makes complete sense for Bishop to be the one bringing the baby back. Tada! So that's how I would do it.
Bang, Bila Mayu dah kena buang bang, abang lah jadi next season.
Tak boleh. Sebab syarat nak jadi writer untuk X-Men 97 ni, aku kena ada OnlyFans. Dan aku OnlyFans aku boleh buat, insyaAllah. Mungkin ada 7 orang subscriber lah. Tapi konten tu masalah.
Apa bro? Ada market. Ada market. Orang suka Charles Xavier punya cosplay. Orang suka bro.
Tapi dalam banyak-banyak orang yang suka Charles Xavier punya cosplayer, ada seorang yang tak suka Charles Xavier punya cosplayer. Ada kakak seorang yang tak suka reviewer orang-orang botak ni. Jadi that is one less follower for me.
Betul. Kakak dekat TikTok. But anyway, yes, aku setuju dengan apa yang Jamal cakap. At the end of the day, episode ni dia ada tweaking yang that could have been done on the staging part, especially in the third act, just to make it make more flow better. Because untuk penonton, kita kena tengok 2-3 kali baru perasan, dia ikat rambut, kenapa Scott tak ada, kenapa dia pushback sangat. So yeah, it could have been fixed, just 5 extra minutes staging it in a better flow. So aku rasa that is the bulk of our conversation untuk cerita ASKAN'ISON ni. Dengan itu kita akan ke plot menarik kita yang terakhir. Alright, so plot menarik kita yang terakhir adalah babak epilog dalam episod ini, di mana kita nampak Storm tengah emo, dekat kat bar, tiba-tiba ada lelaki datang nak pick her up. Turns out lelaki ni is going to be instrumental in her life. di dalam storyline LIFEDEATH daripada 1984. So it's kind of cool. Dalam story ni je kau dapat 3 story arc. Kau dapat INFERNO from the 80s, kau dapat ASKANI'SON from the 90s, and then kau dapat LIFEDEATH daripada 1984. Jadi soalan pertama adalah untuk Jamal. Apakah pendapat anda tentang penampilan cameo oleh Forge di penghujung episod ini yang akan merangkumi story arc LIFEDEATH daripada isu X-Men 168 dari tahun 1984. So silakan Jamal.
Aku suka Forge as a character. I am looking forward to how they do the story, and I will be impartial to this sebab aku tak familiar dengan Forge punya backstory dengan Storm punya backstory. Sebab aku skip part tu atau zaman-zaman tu. But Forge is a great character sebab he is a technopathy, tak silap aku. So dalam X-Men mutant powers, you ada telepathy, power of the mind, kau boleh cakap dengan orang. Kau ada telekinesis, you can move items with your mind. Kau ada technopathy where you can you have a high level of understanding of technology. So basically Forge adalah ada Rocket Raccoon punya ability, tapi ability tu adalah mutant ability dia. Rocket Raccoon dia buat pistol semua tu because dia pandai, because he was experimented on. Forge was born with that. So aku rasa ada one American TV series yang aku tengok cerita apa yang dia ada salah satu karakter utama adalah this boy yang ada ability ni. Dia ada technokinesis, bukan technokinesis, technopathy lah. Dia just boleh faham teknologi dan dia boleh buat teknologi baru on the spot. So that is Forge. And Forge is a very strong character. X-Men itself, his story aside, Stan Lee punya backstory aside, X-Men himself has largely been credited or regarded as the first comic book in the mainstream media yang spoke about representation dengan lantang, dengan open. So this was back in the 70s and 80s. This was back before, this is like 70s, 80s. So benda tu woke tak jadi isu lagi. Diorang dah buat benda-benda representation ni because this is how it feels like to be marginalized. So that was the intent behind the entire X-Men punya ni. So Forge was, tak silap aku, their first Mexican atau Hispanic mutant in the title. And he was given a key role which is a very smart role. Jadi bila kau tengok dalam late 80s dengan 90s, X-Mansion tu, kau turun bawah, all the technology in X-Mansion, semua Forge buat. Everything. Cerebro was designed with Forge. The Danger Room was designed with Forge. The Blackbird yang lawa gila tu, Forge buat. So for a long time, Forge lepak X-Mansion for free. Sebab apa? Macam, kalau aku belas, apa jadi technician korang siap? So, semua tu Forge. And then, bila dia dah macam, okay lah, I've had enough, dia masuk X Factor. Tapi jadi macam consultant. So X Factor yang diketuai oleh adik Scott Summers, which is Havok, Alex Summers, dia ada Forge kat dalam tu in the as a advisory punya role. And Forge dia akan pergi semua team X-Men sebab dia kata I don't belong in anyone but I help semua orang. So Forge it's very very fundamental to X-Men punya ni lah. But this story is very important because Forge dia ada masalah dengan badan dia. So that kerana relationship dia dengan Storm, dia berjaya design cybernetic parts untuk pulihkan condition badan dia. Dan dia jugalah yang akan tolong Storm. Ni spoiler sebab kau Google kau akan jumpa benda ni. Dan it's adapting from this. Dalam komik, dialah yang tolong Storm regain her powers. And then maksudnya diorang jiwang dan cintan gila babi dan nobody questions this partnership. It is probably, katakanlah MCU buat live version Forge dengan Storm, the woke army, if it's done right, the woke army akan suka gila babi. Because this is it. And this happened back in the 80s. Tetapi bila Storm dapat tahu orang yang buat teknologi, yang digunakan untuk membuat senjata yang telah menghilangkan kuasa dia adalah Forge. So that's the heart of this story. So So dan benda ni dia relate balik dengan episod 1 di mana dengan episod 2 di mana Storm kena tembak kan oleh Executioner. Executioner tu pun random gila dia insert. So Mayo dia the great stuff. Dia bagi cameo pada tempat-tempat yang cantik. So macam dia tahu kita takkan pergi future, so kita takkan jumpa Mojo, tapi dia bagi kita yang perempuan, tak lupa nama dia. Dia perempuan ada 6 tangan tu sebab apa? Morph tengah acah-acah
Spiral.
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 Spiral. Kau macam pandai kau cameo. So dia bagi Executioner watak yang orang tak kisah. Macam okay, let's give you a 1 episode feature that you are the guy that fired the gun to injure Storm, which is pretty cool. And then Storm jiwang dengan Forge, she will eventually discover, lah kau ke yang buat teknologi, yang buat pistol yang ambil power aku ni. Tetapi Storm, tapi Ororo, aku boleh kembalikan kuasa kau. Tapi dia ada bermain dengan perasaan aku. That was what people were reading in 1984. You know, and then Storm merajuk, dia balik ke X-Men. Walaupun dia dapat power dia, then she becomes a better leader for X-Men. Yang masa tu tak ada Scott lah, sebab Scott dengan semua dalam X-Factor. And then Storm was the leader for a long time. Before the 90s, dia orang rebrand semua. Dia buat Blue Team dengan Gold Team. Storm jaga Gold Team, Cyclops jaga Blue Team. This story is very important because this was what made Storm into the regal, divine goddess that she is. Because she overcame this, and then she reconciled with Forge not long after that lah. And then Forge berkat daripada storyline ni, dia rasa macam okay, aku punya purpose adalah untuk tolong orang dan untuk tolong orang-orang yang nak tolong orang-orang macam aku. Really, really nice story. Benda ni it's a gold mine for Marvel to buat ke dalam live action. So it's great lah. So aku harap apa-apa yang ditukar, paling teruk pun ditukar macam Jean Grey dengan Madeline Pryor ni. So there are things yang macam cantik kau kemaskan benda ni. And then there are some changes yang macam okay, this is your air tangan kau atau sentuhan kau sebagai creator. So by and large the first 3 episodes, kau pergi Reddit, semua orang suka, tak ada orang bising-bising. Nerds je yang gaduh, tak, cerita ni kena macam ni, cerita ni kena macam ni. Tak ada buat apa, nerds will nerd. So tu je lah.
Betul. And actually story arc LIFEDEATH ni yang daripada Uncanny X-Men nombor 186, daripada X-Men 186 from 1984 is so important dalam siri animasi ni, that the LIFEDEATH story arc ada part 1 and part 2 in the whole 10 episode of season X-Men 97. So I hope it's a very, very close to the source material punya adaptation. Pasal dia ada bermain dengan thoughts of suicide and shit like that. So agak deep untuk komik untuk budak-budak kecil dan kartun untuk budak-budak kecil. So soalan kedua adalah untuk Sifudin apakah pendapat anda? Ini subplot lain pula yang Gambit jealous dengan Rogue dan Magneto yang semakin intim. Kemudian dia dibelanja oleh Goblin Queen gambaran Savage Land Rogue bersama Magneto. But Sherry, I cannot forget this shit.
Dia kata, I cannot unsee this.
Sedih gila Gambit episode ni.
First of all, I think memang Goblin Queen dia basically pergi, dia tap the worst fear lah kan. Setiap orang nampak benda yang mereka paling takut sekali. So it's weird lah, tapi you know it happens. For Gambit, dia punya worst fear is that Rogue dengan Magneto is a thing. So that's like macam okay. So kita tahu lah mana dia punya mental kan, based on what we saw. Saya suka yang ada benda macam ni because when there is a rift in the team, macam saya cakap last week, when there's a rift in the team and then the rift creates drama. So saya suka yang saya macam now the story is going towards the part that nanti Gambit akan buat something yang akan basically pecah belahkan the team that we have right now. Somehow sebab Cyclops is in shambles, dia macam I cannot be part of this apa-apa. So tak ada Storm, and then Jean just got back, what can she do? And then we have the leader, and the leader is like going around with a girl macam tak benda. So dia macam nampak straight, masih dapat macam yang okay sikit morph dengan Wolverine. and then we have this Gambit story. I think it's going to be one storyline dalam musim ni, where we will see like some kind of a family drama lah dalam cerita X-Men, so I like it. Tapi itulah, masa babak tu, ni saya punya pandangan sebab saya tak baca komik kan, tapi saya tahu sikit-sikit pasal this whole Magneto dengan Rogue, saya ada baca sikit. And then when I saw that moment dekat meja tu kan, I'm like, yo, this is what he's afraid of. Macam mana, but that babak tu memang pada saya sangat trippy. Saya suka semua orang ambil babak, cuma saya kurang faham babak Gambit tu. And then now I understand sebab it's his worst fear, and benda tu buatkan I think benda ni akan jadi somehow a main point lepas ni. Benda yang buatkan Magneto somehow akan keluar daripada X-Men. Is that weird to say? I don't know apa pandangan abang-abang sekalian.
That is a pretty cool thought. I like it.
Yeah, sebab Magneto in this episode pada saya, dia cakap, okay, we split into two. Satu duduk kat sini, satu pergi Goblin Queen, let's go. And then bila sampai lawan Goblin Queen, it feels like he's taking a like step back, macam dia relax kat belakang. Moth dah kena, Cyclops dah kena, baru dia nak lawan. And then dia lawan pun dia kalah dengan Goblin Queen. Somehow dia macam tak take it too seriously about the safety of Nathan and whatever. So rasa macam mula-mula saya suka dia, like second episode saya suka tengok Magneto. I think Magneto is a good leader. Somehow in third episode dah jadi sus balik macam, oh, betul ke ni Magneto ni? So I think this Gambit storyline with Magneto and Rogue is going to be that thing yang akan buat kita semua maybe side dengan Gambit. And then by the end of this season, Magneto akan keluar and do whatever he wants lah. Mungkin dia akan pindah semula ke Genosha, and then Professor X will be back or something like that. I don't know, but I feel like this is it. This is the story. Sebab kalau benda ni tak penting, diorang tak tunjuk kat kita kan, dalam that moments. Like rasa macam masa let's say Jubilee dengan siapa nama karakter Sunspot, Jubilee dengan Sunspot punya Roberto punya scene tu, macam diorang macam nampak hantu demon keluar dari TV and something like not very important, but this one is very emotional for the character, for Gambit. So I feel like this benda yang saya cakap, Rift ni akan basically out Magneto, dan kita akan tahu belajar Magneto punya real reason kenapa dia nak jadi leader of X-Men and whatever. So I think it's from this part lah. Apa pandangan abang? Saya tak tahu pandangan abang Jamal dengan abang ni sekali. Kalau
aku
boleh.
Aku suka teori kau, Sifudin, and aku rasa it's real, because kalau korang skip lagu minggu ni, tu salah korang. Every week dia tambah babak baru, by the way. Dalam kali ni tak ada Magneto, and tiba-tiba ada Lilandra of the Shah Empire. Aku macam, wait a minute, kenapa ada Lilandra dalam team song? So, maksudnya Professor X mungkin tak mati lagi, and he will return with Lilandra of the Shah Empire. So, apa pendapat kau, Jamal? Is Professor X coming back? Is Magneto just, having fun dengan Rogue? Sedangkan dia dah dapat Genosha, dia dah home free. Apa pendapat kau?
Aku skip lagu sebab aku tak suka treatment, aku tak suka the mastering for this for X-Men 97 punya opening theme. I prefer the mastering for the old cartoon. So I think the mastering is bad lah. Levels tak kena pada aku, instruments yang tak patut ke depan, yang tak patut ke belakang, yang tak patut ke belakang. So aku macam skip. And tak ada, dia tak buat instrumentation baru, dia tak reharmonize, dia tak rearrange. Dia sama. So aku macam, okay, whatever. I know it's important to watch it because macam ada scenes macam ada little cuts yang macam bagi hints. So but I'm happy to. Jadi first story, I don't know why you got that, but that's a cool instinct to have lah, macam, oh, this could be how Magneto leaves, because the biggest surprise for everyone watching episode 1 was Magneto datang, betul, the last will and testament of Professor X, X-Men is me, X-Men is mine, which is from a story from a storyline in the noughties kan, ke late 90s ke early noughties. So that is lah macam, wow, kau restart benda ni dengan this huge thing without really addressing Professor X's death, and then the X-Men punya team did not even like spend time to figure it out, to like get used to it, to acclimatize. So, and then in episode 2 kita nampak pacing dia laju. So then we got used to like, okay, mungkin cerita storytelling dia macam ni. So kalau lepas 4 episod, 5 episod, 6 episod Magneto belah, then it is not surprising lah, because it fits with that really high pace punya style. And when they do that, while I worry kita mungkin tak cukup material nak masuk the following season dan sebagainya, but kalau season ni ada 20 episod, then it's great lah, sebab okay, first 8 episod Magneto leading X-Men, next 4 episod Magneto belah daripada X-Men, Professor X datang balik, and then tu dah 12 episod, so ada lagi 8 episod, so the final 8 episodes is the X-Men returning to their, to their perch and whatever not, which makes great. 10 je. Then there you go. Then second season lah. So that structure, then it becomes interesting lah, because now you have material for 3 seasons. The first season Magneto masuk, at the end of the season Magneto belah. Second season Magneto belah, Professor X datang balik. So the third season is the conclusion, and then whatever not happens. So it could possibly happen that way. And for you to sort of like have that instinct, aku rasa macam, that's cool. Sebab aku dah tak fikir dah macam, korang nak belanja macam ni aku layan je. So it makes a lot of sense. Although if Magneto were to leave, I hope it's not Gambit, because benda tu remeh gila. Dan kalau Magneto betul-betul nak lawan dengan Gambit ada 2 sebab. I am the man for Rogue and not you. Number 1, aku boleh pegang Rogue. Itu dalam the present reality dia dah buat, which is masa zaman dekat Savage Land. Lepas tu dalam Age of Apocalypse dia dah buat, siap ada anak lagi. So Gambit, hang tak boleh pegang Rogue, hang tu salah duk sembang. Okay, number 1. Number 2, hang nak tahu bila aku boleh pegang Rogue tak? Kami dulu dekat Savage Land, kat pulau tu, there you go. So Gambit macam, don't tell me this, Rogue, you say you move on. So kalau Magneto nak be pressured and stressed by Gambit being jealous, it's unlikely. But the fact that Magneto leaving X-Men might just happen. It could be something like, I don't know, man. It could be something like Lilandra, I don't know, coming back and say, I am here to fight for Xavier's death, for Xavier's honor. You might be the person who is named in his will, but you were the one that caused his death. Tiba-tiba, so Lilandra lawan Magneto, and then Magneto belah as a result. And then macam in that flux, Scott jadi balik leader. Shit like that can happen, which can be pretty cool, I feel. So I'm open to it lah. I think we've seen how fast they adapt. So if Magneto were to leave soon, it would not be surprising for me, because dia punya kostum tu teruk the M tu. Oh my god.
Itu kostum 80-an, okay? Kostum 80-an. Kau jangan ejek kostum bukan Jim Lee. Bukan Jim Lee yang buat. Memang buruk
Aku tak boleh kutuk, tapi kau boleh kutuk. Kau cakap kostum bukan Jim Lee semua buruk. Okay? Ada kostum lagi buruk daripada kostum yang bukan Jim Lee design ni. Kostum Rob Liefeld. Okay, gurau je. Saja nak sangkat. Rob Liefeld je. Nanti semua X-Force punya brigade keluar mati aku. So yeah, I think it's cool. Yang Lilandra tu, now I'm interested. Sebab kalau Lilandra, then so many things can happen. Because you will not have Lilandra without Professor X. So if you bring Lilandra in, you must have Professor X. So what's the story about? Lilandra macam, korang tak cakap pun Professor X mati, Charles mati, dia tak email pun korang ni. I don't know. Or it could be that the X-Men,
dalam sini lama, she brought a comatose Professor X to the Shire Empire.
Yeah.
So she knows. Yeah.
So I don't know. So if Professor X is back, then we will have a fight. But I'm happy. I'm happy either way.
Saya nak cakap apa? Okay, saya tak rasa Gambit punca Magneto keluar, but what I mean is like Gambit is the starting point lah. So Gambit punya problem with
for the riff, and then jadi gaduh dalam family lah. Okay,
yes.
Boleh.
That's what I meant.
Boleh. Ya, boleh. Itu definitely benda tu. Then Nick, berapa puluh tahun X-Men sampai sekarang, benda tu, that is the story of X-Men.
Drama aku 7 bro. X-Men
drama aku 7. Dia ada fasa Dallas, lepas tu fasa Dynasty, lepas tu dia ada fasa Golden Girls dia ada fasa Three's Company dia ada fasa Friends dia dia ada fasa How I Met Your Mother dia. Dia ada fasa dia punya Downton Abbey dia. Banyak gila. Okay?
Yes.
Banyak gila. So, you baca X-Men dulu, every year you telan je semua ni untuk 10 bulan. Sebab 2 bulan tu punya crossover, that's what you wait for. So every year dia akan ada crossover besar. So in the 90s was the best period lah sebab X titles je ada X-Men, Uncanny X-Men, X-Force, X-Factor, and then much later Generation X, Excalibur, team yang dekat Eropah, based in Great Britain. So at least 6 titles. So lepas tu ada Wolverine, and then I think one more aku tengok ada Cable. So bila crossover je 8 title punya crossover. So kalau dia kata crossover ni selama 3 bulan, semua orang pecah kepala. Aku kena beli 8 kali 3 pasal aku kena beli 24 bisu ke? Dia jadi macam tu. So yeah. So benda ni memang drama ni memang sepah.
Okay.
So you look forward to it.
Yeah, I think that's what sets it apart tau. Macam Fantastic Four is a family punya drama. Gaduh-gaduh pun antara adik-beradik, husband wife. Tapi yang ni ialah a whole team of sexy looking people yang menyelamatkan dunia setiap minggu atau setiap bulan. So lepas dah menyelamatkan dunia tu, dia orang ada drama interpersonal dia orang pula. Dia lain daripada Avengers, dia lain daripada Fantastic Four. It's its own thing.
Walaupun mereka boleh menyelamatkan dunia, tapi mereka tak boleh menyelamatkan diri masing-masing.
Betul. Itu ironinya.
Ironi gila.
Betul kan. Dia orang memang tersakiti lah. Hero yang tersakiti.
Betul lah.
Alright guys. So dengan itu berakhirlah 3 plot menarik daripada X-Men 97 episod ketiga minggu ini. Sekarang kita akan bincangkan soalan-soalan yang terpilih daripada penonton live stream. Pertama, Wan Faris bertanya, ini berkaitan dengan story arc Inferno. Adakah korang prefer Mephisto seperti di Marvel Comics instead of Mr. Sinister yang memberi kuasa kepada Goblin Queen? Yang ni dia tukar sikit lah, dia retcon sikit. Pasal dalam Marvel Comics it was
not Mephisto. It was a different demon. It was Sim.
Oh, it was Sim. Okay.
But it was a demon jugalah.
Pada pendapat kau, do you prefer that or do you prefer the cleaner Mr. Sinister version dalam X-Men 97?
I wish he incorporated the demon, any demon, I don't care. But the cleaner version works better for the cartoon. Because Mr. Sinister creating Goblin Queen doesn't make sense. Sebab tu kau ada scene kat dalam, in the first third, masa dia buat transformation itu, you can now call me the Goblin Queen. Dari mana datangnya Goblin ni? Kau tak ada.
Betul. Agak pelik.
Kau bukan goth chick. Pelik. Kau bukan goth chick. Tiba kau nak petik Goblin. But I get it. So I don't know. I would have preferred the demon lah, because it is a nice homage to. It's just a nice homage. They didn't have to, but it would have been nice if they did it.
Yeah, then dia lebih berkait dengan the Inferno story arc daripada 1980-an, which was again another crossover within the X-Men titles. Seterusnya Daniel Ismat bertanya, para panelis, adakah kesemua Marvel Animated Series ini canon event dalam MCU juga? Effectively, semua cerita ni is not on Earth 616 so it is not canon to the MCU, but it is part of the multiverse. Kan kita dalam multiverse saga sekarang ni. Ni adalah di dunia lain, ni adalah di Earth lain, tak ada kaitan dengan Earth 616, but still part of the multiverse. Dan tengah dipegang oleh Loki sekarang. Dia macam kibat-kibat ni, pasal ada 2 jingkri sambil dia tengah duduk kan. Pasal ada 2 jingkri kat garis ni. Seterusnya Daniel juga menambah, panelis, ada kemungkinan tak MCU nak buat all Marvel Animated Series 90s dengan 2000 yang pernah muncul? Tak tahu, sekadar rumor setakat ini. Diorang kata the next one will be the Spider-Man series yang juga tergantung. I think it'd be cool if they bring it back dengan cara diorang bawa macam ni. Tolong bagi kerja kat Pew Di Mayo, suruh dia buat juga Spider-Man. Harap lah. Seterusnya,
Aku harap diorang tak sentuh Armor Wars.
Yes. Yang tu tak payah. Yang tu dah bagus.
Itu dah bagus. Jangan kacau.
Yeah. But nak bawa balik siri Iron Man tu would be good. Yeah.
Oh.
Yes, definitely. Seterusnya, adakah Pyro dan Sabretooth muncul di X-Men 97 episod akan datang? Dia dah ada bro. Kau ni skip lagu kan? Dalam lagu tu kan dia berlari-lari. Dia dah ada bro. Dia sejak episod 1 dia dah ada. Kau tak nampak.
Ada Morph berubah jadi Sabertooth kan dalam episod 1.
Ya.
Yes.
Bodoh lah. Ya. Morph ni kaki ranjau lah. Kau ajar dia tu. Ya.
Morph is-
Tapi aku tak harap Sabertooth muncul. Aku expect Sabertooth muncul. Okay? Pyro aku tak kisah. Sebab kalau Pyro ada, kau kena ada Toad, kau kena ada Blob. So I don't really care about the Brotherhood. What I care about is Omega Red. So kalau Omega Red ada, aku happy. So sekarang aku kena tengok Omega Red, aku kena tengok Archanger. Kalau ada dua tu, I'm fine.
Yes. Soalan seterusnya adalah daripada Wan Fairuz.
Yes.
Wan Faris, adakah Magneto Omega level mutant? Silakan Jamal.
Dia adalah Omega level mutant. Okay, so kena tengok aku nak cut off kat bila. Tapi aku cut off dekat 2000s lah. So as at the end of the 90s, Omega level mutant ada beberapa. Aku tak tahu full list dia pada ketika itu at that point. But off the top of my head, Magneto level 5. Paling kuat, antara yang paling kuat because dia boleh control magnetism atau benda-benda yang boleh affected by magnetism at a molecular level. Sebab tu dalam scene X-Men punya filem Bryan Singer dulu tu, ada scene yang dia kena dalam penjara tu semua plastik ataupun semua gelas. Sebab tak boleh bagi dia metal, lepas tu dia kena inject dengan darah tu ada kandungan iron, kandungan zinc yang tinggi, so dia boleh manipulate. So that is true to the comics. And then Professor X, highly advanced telepathic punya skills. Dan Professor X punya kekuatan yang tak ada cycle lain boleh buat adalah dia boleh buat astral projection, lepas tu dia boleh lawan kau dengan astral projection dia. So benda ni tak ramai orang nampak, kau hanya nampak dalam komik X-Men, which is after Age of Apocalypse. Ada seorang watak daripada alternate reality tu datang ke present reality sebelum dia hilang. So dalam present reality tu dia kena lawan siapa entah. Lepas tu Professor X detect dia. Lepas tu macam apa pasal telepathy apa pasal kau punya psychic signature macam Cable, macam Nathan Dayspring, tapi aku tak kenal kau. So Professor X keluarkan astral projection dia, pergi jumpa X-Men, lepas tu lawan. Lepas tu Nathan Summers, that boy, macam siapa Mamat ni boleh selamba keluar astral projection lawan aku. So tu Professor X. In the late 90s, Jean Grey eventually became an Omega level mutant. Her potential was clearly seen because Phoenix took over the body. And then but Storm eventually became an Omega level mutant. Scott Summers punya power, depending on zaman bila writer mana buat, he was an Omega level mutant. Sebab at one point dia punya blast tu adalah portal from one dimension to another dimension. Jadi bila dia tembak, benda yang hilang tu bukan hancur, dia pergi ke dimension lain. Bodoh gila, aku tak nak petik benda tu. But my favorite and then ada Legion, which is anak Professor X yang schizophrenia, dan dia bukan schizophrenia, dia ada multiple personality disorder. Dan yang lagi bestnya watak ni, dia punya personality tu ada mutant power dia yang tersendiri. Dan 3 daripada personality yang dominant tu, yang paling dominant, seorang pyrokinesis, seorang telepathy, seorang telekinesis. Benda yang Professor X ada, benda yang Jean Grey ada, benda yang pyro hanya boleh control, tak boleh buat, dia boleh buat. So, dan semua Omega level. So, dia punya terror tak terror, dia boleh guna dia punya power, harness the M-Cran crystal, travel balik through time, pergi cari zaman bapak dia, Professor Charles Xavier dengan Eric Lansher, Magneto, tengah berkawan masa perang, nak bunuh Magneto. Sebab apa? This is how I want to prove to my father that I love my father. Sebab aku tersakiti, bapak aku tak pernah sayang aku. Sebab aku gila. So aku nak tunjukkan bapak aku sayang dia, aku admire dia, aku nak bunuh orang yang membuatkan masalah paling besar dalam hidup dia. Tetapi masa dia nak bunuh Eric, Charles nampak, Eric! Charles lompat, lepas tu dia kena tikam. Lepas tu Legion macam jadi gila sebab macam aku terbunuh bapa aku. Tidak! Dia punya kuasa meletup. Dia kacau reality sebab dia tengah harness the M-Cran crystal. Pecah alternate reality, jadi Age of Apocalypse, a world where Professor X does not exist. Cool gila. So itu epic gila. Because it was about half a year tak silap aku, 4 bulan ke 6 bulan di mana semua X-Men punya title cancel dan digantikan oleh title-title baru di dalam daripada satu reality atau satu zaman di mana Professor X tak wujud, mati awal. So that is cool. Itu, dan the last one yang paling orang tak expect, Omega level mutant adalah Iceman. Sebab Iceman, the only reason why dia tak cukup Omega walaupun dia OG member X-Men is because dia ada anxiety issues dan dia ada self-confidence punya issues. So kalau kita tengok X-Men punya animation atau punya lukisan, dia sentiasa pakai spender kan, tapi dia sentiasa ada belt yang ada X tu kan. That is not a normal belt. That is an inhibitor belt. Sebab bila Bobby nervous, dia tak boleh control power dia. Bila dia tak boleh control power dia, dia kuasa nak buat ice tu akan boleh membekukan kesemua cecair di sekitar dia. So your blood, the air in your skin, semua kena beku. So kalau tak ada inhibitor belt tu, dia tak boleh control dan dia boleh pegang kau terus berkecai. Dia boleh letak tangan kat tanah, berkecai. So orang tak tahu benda ni.
Itu memang godlike lah.
Itu memang godlike. Orang tak tahu benda ni until the late 90s bila Professor X make the revelation, and then in the storyline Onslaught, in the crossover punya Onslaught, the event leading up to Onslaught punya reveal, Onslaught ada hantar dia punya herald tau, Post, one of my character yang aku paling suka tengok design dia daripada the Kubert Brothers. Post datang, dia kidnap 4 X-Men, bawa ke dalam satu dimension, nak test X-Men tu sebab dia nak tengok adakah Onslaught akan dicabar oleh X-Men. So masa tengah kena test tu, Bobby punya inhibitor belt rosak. Lepas tu Post tengah nak belasah Storm, Wolverine dengan Cyclops. Bobby yang dah berlubang, dia letak tangan dalam tanah, dia bekukan semua benda. The entire fucking dimension atau that entire fucking space got frozen because Post was connected to that dimension. Post terus tak boleh lawan, and then they got shafted back to their to the X-Mansion. So that is how strong Bobby is. And then later on in the 2000s, wokeness representation naik, and then they made him gay, and then so many other things lah. So yeah, but those are the Omega level mutants that I can remember off the top of my head lah. Memang some really cool things to bring into. If siapa nama ni? If Scarlet Witch is a mutant, if they do retcon it, she would be an Omega level mutant. Gila kau. Dia buat crossover my MCU yang paling celaka. Aku benci dengan semua orang. Okay, aku tukar reality. Kau mati, ni anak aku. So whatever you saw in the TV series was an actual comic storyline that spanned the entire Marvel universe. Gila tak gila? Marvel ada macam 40 comic titles, 40 affected.
House of M was classic.
House of M pun kesian budak tu.
Dia cakap simple je. Wanda cakap no more mutants. Just
Ya. Hilang.
Gila babi.
Dan dia bukan no more mutants, dia buat reality baru Dalam benda yang dia buat adalah dia switch off the X gene.
Ya.
The mutant gene tu. Dia switch off terus.
Ya.
So
sebab tu dia namakan Earth 616 pasal hanya tinggal 616 mutant. Yang lain semua dah hilang. Switch off.
Gila
Switch off macam Jamal cakap ya. Gila. Alright, seterusnya Wan Faris bertanya, sejak isu manakah dalam komik di mana Storm berambut mohawk? Jawapannya adalah sejak isu The Uncanny X-Men 173 daripada bulan Oktober 1983, di mana Storm abandoned her old costume for a black leather top and pants and changed her former veil of white hair into a punk mohawk. So it's since the 80s bro.
Dan dia buat benda tu sebab time tu that mirrored the fashion and the subcultures of the world at that time. So during that time, punk music was slowly coming into mainstream consciousness, and it was not a subculture yang ganas, Nazi ke apa benda ke. It's just a rebellious subculture yang budak-budak just nak pergi party dan nak main music, So X-Men punya fashion, the comic artist dah terus mirror real culture in the design of the ni. So bila Uncanny X-Men tu start, which is the new X-Men punya team, semua dia punya hero semua bangsa pelik-pelik. Colossus was Russian, Storm was African, Sunspot was Hispanic, Nightcrawler was German, lepas tu kulit gelap Nephilim, I think bukan Lockheed, yang boleh ada teki sikit tu. Kitty Pryde was just a girl.
Doug Ramsey. Lockheed lah, Dark Ramsey nama.
Loki Dark Ramsey. So dia macam budak nerd. So in the 80s, it's very hard to not talk about X-Men and not talk about this because they are a comic that was very conscious. Walaupun cerita tu cerita drama minggu ini pukul 7, tak boleh buat apa. But in terms of what it tried to do, that was pretty cool. And I don't think it has ever been bettered. Means ada banyak dia buka jalan kat title-title lain yang jadi more representation. Jadi in the 90s, late 90s onwards, banyak gila title dalam Image buat adult stories. Dark Horse jadi popular sebab adult stories, but in mainstream adult stories tak lepas. So Marvel found the formula lah. Kita tak payah adult sangat. Kita just make it real tapi the mirror reality. So you get that?
Which explains kenapa setiap 10 hingga 20 tahun design untuk X-Men bertukar. Like they came out in the 60s and then by the 80s dia nampak macam 80s and then by 90s dia nampak macam 90s. Sekarang I think you can see it in the thousands as well.
Tapi cool. Emma Frost White Queen dia punya kostum tak tukar-tukar sampai sekarang.
Oh yeah. Dia lebih dia macam orang panggil bandage dress di mana menutup puting je bro, menutup puting. That was tahun 2008 bandage dress. Pasal zaman tu bandage dress was
dia sebelum tu lagi pun dia dah bandage dress. Aku boleh bawa keluar trading card aku sekarang. Itu adalah satu benda yang defying gravity baju yang kalau nak buat live action dia macam aku nak ikat benang kat mana lah macam mana nak melekat ni. Tak boleh. Costume maker zaman sekarang akan kenapa dia orang lukis macam ni, susah lah nak. Aku nak pergi ambil barang je, nak tunjuk something.
Okay, silakan. Alright. Seterusnya kita ada soalan untuk Sifudin soalan daripada Fakih Peloki. Soalan kepada Sifudin, how do you feel about the love triangle potentially will be back on this show, di mana kita nampak Jean, Scott dan Wolvie macam start balik je love triangle ni. Apa pendapat kau? Silakan.
Dari dulu lagi kan saya tak minat this lovey-dovey storyline unless it has something to do with the plot, something to do with the story as a whole lah. So kalau the struggle between let's say Jean, Wolverine dengan Scott ni penting to the plot, then it's fine. Macam Gambit, Rogue dengan Magneto, if diorang punya struggle ni ada kena-mengena dengan plot, then it's completely fine. Buatlah apa, banyak lovey-dovey story is okay. Nak buat 4-way pun boleh, bukan love triangle, love cube ke love rectangle ke apa, terpulang. Yang penting ada kena-mengena dengan the story. Kalau just buat for fun, for like letak tepi lepas tu just nak show off whatever they want to show, rather not lah, tak payah. Plot is important. Itu je.
Aku setuju. And yes, macam joke Sifudin cakap tadi, it might be a love square pasal tiba-tiba antara tiga ni tiba-tiba ada morph. Dia pun ada feelings kepada Wolverine. Tapi Wolverine suka Jean, tapi Jean suka Scott. Lepas tu Scott tak kisah tentang morph. Lepas tu morph macam, tapi I part of segi empat ni lah anak. Maybe. Ya Jamal, kau dah kembali dengan bandage dress trading card kau?
Oh, kena tengok mana. This is one of my pride and joys in my collection. It's the whole set. So these are all the heroes.
1992, Jim Lee.
This is this. Yep.
Wait, mint so condition ke anak? Mint condition.
Yeah, mint condition.
Wih, papi.
Yep. Then this is the villains. So this is villains. So this is heroes.
Ada Omega Red.
Of course. Time ni Omega Red dah keluar. So kena ada. So sekejap aku cari. Ini adalah Strife. Cable punya clone. Kostum dia memang agak style. And then my favourite X-Men villain yang tak adalah kuat tapi dia suka kacau Wolverine. Dan design dia sangat cool, Omega Red. Arkady Russovich. So Wolverine ada claw, Omega Red pun dalam Weapon X punya program dia bagi tendril kat sini. So a tendril tu macam a tendril lah, dia macam belalai, bukan belalai, it's a tendril, dia boleh gali. Tapi tendril Omega Red ni boleh emit neurotoxin. So bodoh gila. Tetapi aku bawa kad ni sebab aku nak tunjuk satu benda. 1992, dia daripada dulu macam ni.
Yes, the White Queen.
Dia daripada dulu macam ni. Tak boleh buat
pakai
apa.
Postier dia.
Ya, dengan bustier dia. Dia memang macam ni. So, this is the X-Men Blue Team, which is I feel the X-Men that I will always want to watch lah. So, Blue Team ni adalah recon dengan covert operations. Diorang benda-benda nak spy-spy, nak menyelinap masuk, diorang buat kerja. And then, dia tak ada Gold Team Gold Team adalah tim-tim yang frontal assault. Semua heavyweights yang boleh terbang, heavy hitters. So, Rogue Storm, Colossus, Archangel, Bishop, dengan lagi seorang aku tengok. Dengan Jean Grey. Because Blue Team is Cyclops, Psylocke, Wolverine, Gambit, Beast, dengan lagi seorang. Iceman pun dalam Gold Team. Benda-benda yang macam, okay, kita orang pergi buat kacau ke depan, korang masuk kat belakang. So yeah. Ada lagi tapi macam aku nak tunjuk X-Men je sebab X-Men paling relevan.
Aku jealous tu. Kimak aku jumpa kat mana siang kad ni. Dah lah complete.
Mesti mahal
Betul.
Kalau jual balik bang?
Dah tak ada value sangat dah. Nostalgia je. This is my favourite X-Men character of all time. Character design yang paling cantik aku rasa, Archangel. So aku memang nak tengok benda ni in live action. So I have all Archangel cards from different from different collectibles.
Nice.
Yeah. Yep. So nostalgia. Sedih.
Cool. Alright, kita ke soalan seterusnya. Kita ada 6 lagi soalan. Mementos and Hobby bertanya, dia tak faham antara X Factor dengan X-Men. Diorang ni macam grup lain ke apa? Kenapa Scott keluar dekat X Factor sedangkan ada X-Men? Silakan Profesor Jamal tolong explain.
So kita
sunat laser ni. Sunat laser.
Sunat laser. Babi lah. Aku takkan bagi accurate as per tahun, tetapi aku bagi peredaran zaman dia. So nanti bila kau cari atau Google, kau boleh cari ikut peredaran zaman ni lah. So bila X-Men start, the first 5 recruits was Angel, Cyclops, Beast yang belum jadi biru berbulu-bulu jadi macam berbulu-bulu. Lepas tu Jean Grey, last recruit, and then lagi seorang was Angel. Okay, and then bila dia dah lama, itu daripada 50s or 60s aku dah tengok dah dia start bila. And then bila masuk late 60s, early 70s, they needed to change it. So what happened was they had a really big story, and then they started recruiting people. So orang yang dia recruit tu adalah Storm, Wolverine, Colossus, Shadowcat, Kitty Pryde, Lockheed, lagi 2-3 orang aku dah tengok. And then they had like 2 teams. So after the Dark Phoenix punya saga, Phoenix punya saga, something like that, what they did was dia pecah. So masa dia pecah tu, the original founding members of X-Men, diorang graduate. Bila dia graduate, dia masuk government sebab the government hired them to become the government punya operative team. Jadi government tak ada mutant punya team nak lawan mutant punya threats, dan X-Men tak boleh lawan semua mutant punya threats. So bila X-Men dah ada 2 team, so Professor X graduatekan the original 5 members, dia buat X Factor. So X Factor kerja dengan kerajaan, dia ada handler nama Valerie Cooper. So Valerie Cooper yang macam dapat call, dapat case, dapat aduan, lepas tu dia akan call X Factor, hantar X Factor pergi. Jadi certain things X Factor akan pergi dulu sebab benda ni government to government. Macam contoh, tiba-tiba ada spy dekat negara mana nak buat hal, spy tu adalah mutant, then dia hantar X Factor, dia tak hantar X-Men. X-Men bila nak perang, bila ada kekecohan berlaku, bila ada terorisme di khalayak umum, baru X-Men turun. Ataupun bila mutant cari pasal dengan mutant cari pasal dengan manusia, X-Men turun. Tapi bila government dengan government gaduh dan government ni masing-masing ni pakai benda mutant, X-Factor turun. And then masa tu bila benda tu dah jadi, and then banyak orang start direkrut oleh Professor X. Kalau dia tak masuk X-Men, dia jadi affiliate atau dia jadi macam kawan. So antara orang-orang ni adalah in no particular order, Alpha Flight. So Alpha Flight adalah X Factor untuk Canada. So dia ada 6 orang mutant yang kostum dia merah putih sebab Canada kan. Dan diorang hanya operate dalam Canada sahaja. So bila X-Men kena keluar masuk Canada, dia akan liaise dengan Alpha Flight. Dan nak jadi cerita, antara ahli-ahli awal Alpha Flight pernah ada involvement atau pernah ada macam gaduh dengan Weapon X punya program. The program yang buat Wolverine, Sabretooth dengan Omega Red dengan Lady Deathstrike. Yes. So, okay, tu dah expected dah, X-Men dah. And then in the 90s, this is where it becomes great lah. So in the late 80s, bila dah ada X-Men dengan X-Factor, tiba-tiba Cable datang. Cable datang daripada future. So bila Cable datang daripada future, Cable ni pula jenis cowboy sikit. Dan dia macam, aku kena cari gang aku. So Cable buat gang dia sendiri. Dia kumpul budak-budak mutant yang tak boleh masuk X-Men, tapi dia tak jahat. So dia tak masuk Brotherhood of the Mutants, dia tak masuk geng-geng Marauders. So budak-budak ni dia kata, okey lah, korang lepak dengan aku. Ada sesetengah daripada mereka pernah jadi member X-Men. Macam Warpath, abang dia is the original member of the new X-Men yang mati. So bila dia mati, dia pakai balik kostum abang dia, dia ganti abang dia, tapi dia tak masuk X-Men, dia masuk X-Force. Dia jadi macam senior. Lepas tu Roberto da Costa, Sunspot dalam kartun ni, dia masuk X-Force juga. Lepas tu Shatterstar tiba-tiba sesat daripada future yang ada Mojo dengan Spiral tu, dia datang, aku lepak dengan korang lah sebab Cable daripada future dan korang semua tak terror, aku paling terror kat sini. Biasalah Shatterstar poyo gila. So Cable buat X-Force pula. And then towards the late 80s, bila dah ada banyak sangat group ni, lepas tu tiba-tiba Professor X kata, Family X ni dah besar. Dia macam Fat Family kalau siapa layan hip hop. So sebab dah besar ni, kita kena restructure balik. So in the 90s, dia kata restructure ni sebab alasan dia nak bawa masuk Jim Lee melukis. Jadi dia kena susun titles X-Men yang betul-betul. Jadi dekat X-Mansion dia jadi 2 team instead of 1. So dia ada X-Men Blue, X-Men Gold. Gold adalah yang aku cakap tadi, Front Assault. Biru adalah Reconnaissance and Subterfuge. And then X-Factor dan biru punya member adalah X-Factor yang asal. So diorang masuk balik X-Men. Jadi kena ada orang ganti. Yang ganti tu adalah group X-Factor yang baru yang diketuai oleh adik Cyclops, which is Havoc, Alex Summers. And then
Multiple Man,
Havoc, Multiple Man, Strong Guy, Wolfsbane, bukan Sirin, bukan Siren, Polaris. And then one more aku tak ingat siapa. So and then ada diorang. Lepas tu X-Force kekal X-Force bawah Cable. Lepas tu Britain punya mutants yang base dekat Europe lepak ke Britain dekat Muir Island kat Scotland. Tempat lahir Nick babi lah. Kurang gila. Tak lah, Nick study kat situ je. So dan diorang diketuai oleh Moira McTaggart. So which is a researcher dan kawan baik Charles Xavier. So itu Excalibur. Sebab apa? Britain kan, kenalah Excalibur. So Alpha Flight ada, so Excalibur ada, lepas tu ada X-Force, lepas tu ada X-Men Blue, X-Men Gold, and then ada X-Factor. And then sebab kena ada budak-budak, so dia buatlah Generation X. Tapi Generation X, Gen X ni sedih. Dia punya nak masuk jadi Gen X tu, diorang dah round up budak-budak ni, and then kebetulan X-Men semua busy, tinggal 2 orang ke 3 orang je senior member. Lepas tu ada virus mana datang, lupa nama dia. And then he tried to kill the whole everyone. And then one of the members of Gen X blink. Dia punya power adalah bila dia blink, benda yang dia pandang tu, benda yang dia target tu akan transported to a different dimension. Syarat dia kena tengok, dia kena blink. Itu mutant power dia. Cool gila. So bila this techno-virus thing, aku lupa nama dia.
Legacy Virus.
Lupa nama. Legacy Virus, yes. So 4 isu. Dia nak recruit 6 orang ni. Lepas tu diorang kena serang dengan virus ni. Blink herself and the virus punya person tu into the dimension and then died forever. So and then you have Generation X. And then after that is just any kind of combinations of any of these groups. Kadang-kadang aktif, kadang-kadang tak aktif, kadang-kadang campur, kadang-kadang tukar member. Banyaklah dia tukar. Tapi generally these are the ones that are yang paling prominent. And then masuk tahun 2000 ke atas, X-Force kekal, X-Men kekal, Excalibur tukar-tukar, Alpha Flight kekal tapi jarang cover. Lepas tu tinggal yang ni lah, Blue dengan Gold dah tak jadi, and then bila Cyclops bunuh Professor X, benda lain jadi, and then so many things, and then Emma Frost, White Queen tadi masuk X-Men, tukar line up, Magneto masuk X-Men, tukar line up. So ada banyak lah, tapi these are the core teams lah dalam X-Men yang memang milestone yang orang kenal.
So semoga terjawab persoalan kau Momentos and Heavy. Terima kasih juga kepada Jamal for that line up daripada 60-an.
Cyclops!
Klasik. Alright, seterusnya soalan kepada panelis. Assuming yang Rogue dan Magneto continue as a couple yang berlaku di dalam The Savage Land Saga from the 90s, mampukah Rogue pregnant dengan Magneto? Jawapan dia ya, dan dah pregnant dah. Tapi semua bukan di Earth 616. Semuanya di alternate reality dalam Age of Apocalypse. Savage Land tu dia boleh pegang-pegang sikit. So what kind of anak mutant will the panelists be expecting? I guess another magnet based powers lah kan? I can't remember nama anak dia apa dah from the alternate reality.
Aku tak ingat. I don't know, and I didn't really care because benda tu dalam Age of Apocalypse, bila Rogue dengan Magneto ada anak tak menjadi fokus tumpuan dalam penceritaan Age of Apocalypse, and only towards the end of Age of Apocalypse, Apocalypse punya askar-askar targeted the baby, so that Rogue dengan Magneto akan split. So that bila dia split the entire X family, diorang boleh buat apa-apalah. So aku tak nak spoiler cerita tu. Tapi cerita tu ni lah. Tapi budak tu tak ada apa-apa ni, dia baby je. Dan she was not even the main focus of the story.
Yeah, and
kalau
and
aku speculate,
kalau
aku speculate, dia tak ada power ke?
Aku rasa dia ada, tapi watak tu macam on a baby level, so it wasn't really explained. Tapi there are also versi yang dah dewasa from another alternate reality, tapi yang tu lebih kepada Blink and the Exiles, which is Age of the Apocalypse. She went to another alternate reality di mana Magneto dengan Rogue ada anak, so dia tak canon sangat dunia yang alternate reality, so kita tak kisah sangat. Alright, last 4 questions. Frank Loki bertanya, ni untuk Sifudin, do you prefer Moff continue playing the role of balik-balik cameo jadi orang lain, balik-balik cameo jadi orang lain dalam setiap episod? Apa pendapat kau?
I love it. Saya suka benda tu. I don't know a lot of character from comics kan. But like when I saw Lady Deathstrike, all the other characters yang ditukar, Colossus tiba-tiba keluar macam kata tu. And then masa dia jatuh daripada Blackbird tu, and then dia berubah jadi Archangel kan, ataupun Angel, I'm not sure which one.
Dia jadi so Angel like, yang dah jadi baik sebab sayap dia sayap besi. Okay, so yeah, dia berubah jadi itu. So it's fun to see lah. It's good for people that love nostalgia, and for people yang tak kenal X-Men sangat, they get to see X-Men members yang tak ada dalam series tu. And it's actually funny, especially masa episod 3 dia berubah jadi spiral, dia macam angkat tangan, 6 tangan dia angkat, and then dia duduk, slowly duduk macam anyone going with the apa nama Jindo punya name, nobody, just me.
Dia buat lawak hamba sial. Dia buat lawak hamba betul orang semua. Diamlah Hana, diamlah.
So yeah, it's fun. So keep it going, teruskan, especially kalau bila dia berubah tu dia actually membantu the team. So why not? Yeah.
I think the best thing Mayo did with X-Men 97 was Moff, because the biggest complaint about the old X-Men series, if people were to think about it, antara top 5 atau top 3 dia adalah, kau bagi kita Moff, tak sempat season 1 habis Moff mati. Satu. Lepas tu Moff dia boleh morph jadi karakter lain je. So dia tak lawan sangat guna karakter tu punya ability. Dia just transform je. Jadi dalam semua story-story line yang Moff ada dalam episod-episod tu, Moff menyamar jadi ni, menyamar jadi ni, menyamar jadi ni, macam Mystique. So banyak orang macam, tapi we like this character. He was not even a prominent character in any of the comics. Tak silap aku, I might be wrong here, aku malas nak research. He wasn't even in the comics, or he was adapted.
Age of Apocalypse. Moff was there.
Tak, because the cartoon, the old X-Men animation, made it popular, so dia masukkan ke dalam Age of Apocalypse, meaning he was not a comic character. So this was a studio decision. Tetapi semua orang suka, the comic lovers loved it, and then the animated fans loved it. and then dia mati. And dia mati without achieving anything meaningful. And then bila dia mati, macam the team tak ada macam, alamak, Morph dah mati, so what do we do now? Dia tak impact the team. So orang macam marah. Because even in those episodes yang dia tak buat banyak benda pun, he was memorable. So what Mayo did from the get-go, especially masa scene dia terjun daripada Blackbird tu, is that he transformed into mutants, other mutants, yang dan dia ada hard limit, hard masa untuk transform tu, and then dia guna dia ability. So when the moment I saw dia terbang jadi Archangel, lepas tu selamatkan, and then macam, okay, this is it, this is brilliant. And then dia tukar-tukar jadi ni, and then lepas tu dia buat lawak, dia tukar jadi orang ni, dia sakat Logan, and then dia comic relief yang tak nampak try hard langsung. Dia comic relief yang macam daripada awal pun aku dah nampak ni, this is another Peter Parker. Mulut tu diam sikit boleh tak? Tapi kalau kau tak diam nanti jadi boring. Dan dia bukannya cakap benda yang salah pun. Dia tak ada cakap benda yang macam awkward, tak ada. So the writing for him was probably the best change from the original cartoon series. And aku harap orang-orang yang minat gila cartoon series ni daripada dulu, tengok juga yang ni and macam, thank you, we never asked for this, we only wished for it, but thank you for doing this for us. And I think if anything, kalau nak kutuk Mayo, kutuk on his personal life if you feel that you want to. But this Morph is the thing that he got right immediately, and because of that, I think the show is better.
Yeah, he's also layered character juga. I mean, masa siapa ni, masa Goblin Queen takutkan semua orang bila contoh Gambit nampak Rogue dengan tu kan. Dia nampak Mr. Sinister, which is like dia ada history dengan Mr. Sinister dalam series before this. So now like everyone nampak their darkest fear, and his darkest fear is Mr. Sinister. I think it's going to play a role lah dalam diorang melawan Mr. Sinister in the future. So cannot wait for Morph. We need more Morph, please. Thank you.
Yeah. Setuju. We're gonna see more Morph pasal Mr. Sinister is the big villain untuk season ni. Alright, seterusnya.
Oh, ya ke? Oh, that's nice.
Yes. So dia recurring. So dia tadi dia macam ha, aku datang minggu ni, tunggu minggu depan, bye. Sebab tu dia dikalahkan senang sangat oleh Goblin Queen. Goblin Queen tembak-tembak jatuh je. Lepas dia macam, yalah tu, bye. Bodoh dia. He just recede into the shadows. Bye, motherfuckers. Alright. Soalan seterusnya. Syed Zahrudin bertanya, siapakah Mak Legion? Nah, Legion itu anak Charles Xavier, adalah the mutant son of Charles Xavier dan Gabrielle Haller. Gabrielle Haller merupakan a Holocaust survivor, doctor of the death camp in which she was helped by Mr. Sinister. So ini juga satu legacy program Mr. Sinister di mana dia nak dapat Charles Xavier punya genetik. So terjadinya lah David Haller aka Legion. Alright, semoga terjawab soalan kau, Syed. Seterusnya, apakah prediction untuk Storm Life Death storyline? Long term, it's not going to be a long term power loss. Life Death Part 1 and Life Death Part 2 is part of the 10 episodes dalam X-Men 97. So akan terjawab in the next 7 minggu lagi. We will get 2 parts of Storm's storyline and she will get her power back. Tapi akan sedih lah pasal dia fall in love dengan orang yang mencuri kuasa dia in the first place, yang membuat teknologi yang mencuri kuasa dia. So macam mana? It's gonna be, aku tak tahu, it's gonna be sad lah in the next few weeks. Dan soalan terakhir, Mak Faris bertanya, bila nak discuss Invincible? Kalau X-Men ada Madeline Pryor, Invincible ada Anissa. Unfortunately, dalam minggu lepas dan minggu depan aku asyik dapat invite setiap hari Selasa atau Rabu di mana kita patut bincangkan Invincible. So minggu lepas was Godzilla Kong, minggu depan is Ghostbusters dan Monkey Man. So aku hanya akan dapat bincangkan the last 3 episodes of Invincible season 2 selepas raya, bila Munif dan Hadi dah balik ke KL daripada beraya di kampung. So korang kena tunggu lagi 3 minggu kot. Sorry guys, tapi Invincible punya review akan tertunggak and it's gonna be like 2-3 weeks from now. Alright, so dengan itu berakhirlah kesemua soalan-soalan korang. Terima kasih kepada para panelis kita, Sifudin, Kaki Animasi, Animai, dan juga Jamal Raslan, Cenderung Tom. Terima kasih kepada korang yang sudi menonton, especially ada beberapa uncle daripada tahun 90-an. What's up, motherfuckers? Terima kasih kerana menonton. Join us next week, hari Ahad. Tak tahu sama ada Jamal ataupun Fik akan kembali, but Sifudin akan join kita orang. That's all for tonight. Have a great week ahead. Majulah fandom untuk negara. Bye guys.